into the channel, keep your head down. Cut the fix up with some Xbox babies, put the switch up. See me gearing up for war, don't get it mixed up. I come in peace, kid. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in to get prepared now. Play on expert level, don't be scared now. No Forza, I can tell you ain't tuned into the channel, keep your
Yo, family, what's up? Thank you for joining us on The Fix tonight. My name is Infinite Umbra. You'll be joining myself and Daniel McGee.
Hello. I wasn't here last week. Sorry.
He has been whipped with 1,000 lashes.
Honestly, I was at work, so
for his transgression.
Not a million miles off.
Okay, yeah, well.
It kind of felt like that, if I'm being real.
That was very violent.
I was going to make it much more, dramatic, but.
I work retail, so it pretty much is that, though.
Yeah, some customer running up to you. Where is this item? But yeah, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We're joined here by two great guests and community members at that as well, and two people who bring the smoke. You know what I mean? When it comes to a lot of talk on Xbox, in particular, lately, especially somebody's particular queen. I'm not going to say out loud here. You know, we got we.
Don't say too much. Pop off, bro.
Right.
They'll make her show up for you.
I know, right? All love to the queen, of course.
Don't give her a reason.
We here with my boy Pixel Bit G. I said Pixel B. Pixel, well, I guess you kind of,
Yeah, I mean Pixel BG.
Yeah,
PBG,
Pixel BG, yeah.
Butter and, get the out of here. Yeah, all that. You know what I'm saying? What's going on?
What's good, Pixel Bit, man? Thank you for joining us, brother. What have you been up to, and what will you be up to?
I mean, I was on Boom Show last night. That was good time was had. Good conversation.
I saw it yesterday.
Yeah. So we put the work in last night, so that was good. And I'm still just playing the hell out of Starfield whenever I have time in between massive 18-hour application deployments. But that's another story.
You mean that game that was snubbed?
The snub, Star Snub, yeah.
Snub heard the world.
Star Snub.
Snubville, yeah. The fraud generator, yeah. I'm on that still. So.
Absolutely. And
the game's trash, Pixel Bit. How can
Clearly.
you be playing it?
I mean, either the game is trash or people's opinions are trash. One of the other.
Yo, facts.
It's one of the two.
It's one of the two.
Yeah, man. No, you all had a good show, man. I was engaged. You all were engaged. Hell, you all were. I know Boom was like, oh my God, I can't read these super chats because you all were going in. Like,
yeah. I was looking there. It was flying, man. It was flying.
Yeah. And of last but not least, of course, C Money, who, the queen whom shall not be mentioned. What's going on, C? What's up with you, brother? What have you been up to, and what will you be up to?
Oh man, well, first of all, thank you, my friend, for having me.
Of course,
always a good time. Hope to be here with homies Danny McG and Pixel Bit G for the first time, actually doing a full thing. This is dope. Very cool, excited. Yeah, man, just been same boat, rocking Starfield as I can. But it is the exclusive relationship right now with gaming. I've just been rocking that every chance I get, and I love it. I finally, after 70 something hours, finally got started with the actual main quest. So That's why I was all emotional when I was on Boom Show.
Yeah.
He had all these spoilers on the screen. I'm like,
That was
yo,
a good one. Yeah, he's like, "Oh, what's going on? What do you do?"
like, how you just gonna put that shit on like that, bro?
It was
You
like,
know
"It's
how
been
big
out for
this
2
game is.
months. Where you been at?"
Yeah.
On Andromeda, taking my time.
No, that was
Yeah,
funny.
man.
I had forgot that you hadn't got that far, and when he was playing it, I'm looking at it like I saw this, and I'm like, oh, that's late game spoilers right there. And sure enough, you're like, yo, Boom, what you doing to me? I'm yeah.
Yeah, I had to. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's it, man. Just enjoying stuff and having fun. You know, kicking some pony's ass out in the world. You know, that's the way.
Yeah, that is the way. There's no other way to be. Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to the chat and such. I want to make sure I had this because he actually donated. Yep, I got it. So to Adidas 20, my fellow Chicago brother, he says I'm here with 4 exclamation points. He was hyped. He put that in actually the other day. So shout out to Adidas 20. Adidas, thank you, brother. Appreciate your donation. You're a generous $10 donation at that. So we appreciate you. And Drawn TJ, he said, "What's up, guys? Xbox should buy WB and say
Facts.
no DC games for Sony ponies." He put ponies in
Oh, that would be glorious.
all caps. Yes, no hooved hijinks for you. What's up, TJ, brother?
Yeah.
Dark Knight for you clowns.
Yeah.
I support this
Stay with
message.
your swinging spider freak. All right.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
got the
Thank you,
real
TJ.
hero.
Thank you, Adidas. And of course, I want to give a shout out to Ahmad, Gray Monad. What's up with you, brother? I see you also, Web Dave. Kay, what's up, brother? My brother. And to the chat, of course. Timmy, what's up, Junior? Spider, Sergeant Sentinel, what's up, brother? Who else do we have here? I almost said Timmy again. Timmy spamming rather. And
Base captain.
Cap, my boy, John Wolf,
Fun
what's up?
TJ's up in the house, no doubt.
Indeed. AJH, what's up? Good to have you all here. We're going to move to the news roundup, and that's going to be relatively short this week.
Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah, and then we'll get to the main topics here, and we'll kind of keep it, I guess, as succinct as we can, if you will. So yeah, what's in the news, Ron? I said Phase Captain. I said Cap, my boy Cap. He said, "How dare you forget me?"
Yeah, you're crying and
I
everything.
see you. That's my boy right there. That's my brother, Cap Yak. What's up, Danny? What's up with the news this week?
Let's see. So, first thing we got here, not really, I guess, news so much, but the Xbox turns 22 yesterday. Officially, was the 22nd anniversary of the launch of the very first Xbox. Apparently,
That's right.
so it's been a long trip to becoming a real powerhouse in the game space. But
How dare you say that?
I mean, it's been a lot of ups and downs. Let's be real. We all seen it.
Yes, it has been.
So I was wondering if any of you had any particular memories of the original Xbox or anything. I don't, because I was 6, but you guys might.
Jesus
God
Christ.
You
I'm
damn
an inbred
whippersnapper.
baby.
Damn it, Dan, what are you doing?
You whippersnapper, you.
Sorry.
That was the day that everything changed, bro. That was the day that everything changed. That's the day I first realized that being an actual gamer meant, like what that meant to like just love it and breathe it. That was the first system that I just was completely in love with, and that's because Halo made that happen. And that was the day that I became a Xbox fan for life. So
Yeah.
glorious day.
That's when you had your internals replaced and you were made into an Xbot like the rest of us.
Absolutely.
The board.
Exactly.
Right.
I got the original model, not like these young bucks.
Yeah. Come on, son. If you don't have the big fat boy with the nice X on and that green top, you were doing it wrong.
Are you really
right?
doing
Day
it?
one units.
Right.
Are you doing it? Were you really playing? You
Were
know what
you?
I'm saying?
Right.
Were you?
Right. They don't
But
know
yeah,
nothing about
I had
They
the
don't
day
know.
one unit. I came to Xbox from PC gaming. So
Mm.
you know, back when we had like Comp USA and all that stuff going down in New York. So when they finally a console that was gonna bring PC games to
That's
the
right.
console space, I was like, yeah, sign me up. So
Oh, yeah.
yep, day one, and my son was probably like 9 around that time. So that was
Dude, I
his
still-
first Halo game. and we beat Halo
That's
together.
awesome.
So yeah, great
That's awesome.
memories.
Yeah, that's excellent. For me, it was Xbox. The OG Xbox became like my home after moving from the Dreamcast, and I know a lot of people did that. A lot of people
Yes,
came
sir.
from the Dreamcast and moved right over. That's how it was for me. Like I was down pretty much immediately with the message. It was the most powerful console at that time for sure. I mean, we're back at this spot now, but you know, although we've seen little diminishing returns here and there, but we get them here and there.
Not Xbox's fault.
Yeah, true.
Sony contract.
True that. True
All right?
that.
Sony contract.
True that.
Holding them
Yeah,
down.
yeah, you know.
We're being oppressed, baby. We're being oppressed by these Sony bitches.
They are artificially keeping us
Wade in the
down.
water.
Wade in the water, children.
Yo, did you guys get that? I don't know if you guys at the time. I was huge into the gaming magazines.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the EGM, the Electronic Gaming
Oh, yeah.
Monthly, that first revealed it, and it had that big ass silver X?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, come
It was
on, who
like
could forget that?
impossible
That
to
was
forget.
that was the initial demo unit that they had brought to a trade show.
Mhm.
Big shiny silver box. It's an actual machine.
Yeah,
The one
I
that we
wanted
was
it.
hoping that was going to be released. Like, oh, let me get that
Literally.
machine. You know what I'm saying?
I thought that's what we were gonna get. I
Yeah,
was
that's
like,
what I
yo.
thought I was getting. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
unfortunately, they didn't go hard with the big 300-pound silver case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But,
Yo, I remember going to my cousin's house next door, grabbing my magazine, going over there because he had a PlayStation, and I
Mhm.
never had I don't even remember having one. If I had one, like the original, I know I had a PlayStation 2, but I remember going over to him because he was such a like stand for it,
Mm.
and I was like, "Look at this shit!
he was
Look
a
at
young
this
pony.
silver fucking X! Look at how big." I'm sorry, I'm cursed. My bad.
No, you're
But
good.
look at this silver X. Look how massive it is. Look at your stupid box. They can't compete.
Yeah, it was.
wasn't ready to get ready
The
for it,
original
baby.
Xbox came out like it was like, I'm a machine, right?
Mm.
And you're a toy.
Yes. Exactly.
You're playing with a
Exactly.
toy. Let's get this right. So yeah,
Pretty
Yup,
much.
Like you hit somebody with
Nice.
the PlayStation, you give them a black and blue, right? My Xbox will murder you. You know what I'm saying? Like you die.
I remember
But-
it's kind of crazy because we see all the vitriol now, but I remember when Xbox was first jumping into the whole
Oh.
thing. Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
a lot
Mhm.
because a lot of people kind of try to revision do a revisionist
It was
history.
tight. No, the
It-
media was not abused.
Immediately anti-Xbox. Immediately.
Oh, it's Windows. They're
Exactly.
PC.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the whole thing.
So
right?
yeah,
So,
I hear a lot of like I remember being in a space where a lot of PlayStation guys were like, "Oh, well, Xbox guys started the beef," and I'm like, "No, that's not what happened
Nah,
at all. That's not reality."
Oh, Playboy.
I
not at
remember
all.
that. I was on the PlayStation. I had the PS2. I had the PS1. I had I've had them all. So I remember the anti-Xbox message immediately and the heat that they got. So I said, you know what? Let me jump into this, man. I like what they're selling. I'm going to try this out. I like the visuals. I like the controller look. You know, that gigantic Duke.
The
But,
Duke.
you know, happen to fits my gigantic hand, so it works out.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a
'Cause
comfortable
remember those
controller.
other
Like
ones are
I,
made
you
for
know,
Japanese tiny hands. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
it was the S, right?
The S.
The S controller.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
but
came
yeah,
after.
but you know that
Came
big
after.
Duke. Come on, man! I had to rebuy that when they
I
brought
have
it
like
back out.
6 of them right now.
Oh,
I bought
damn.
them in
Yeah.
every color.
They brought them out. Yeah, I had to copy it.
Nice.
Let me get that Duke.
I need to get myself
Hang
one
it
just to
now, though.
have.
You're like, goodness gracious, this controller is pretty terrible. But,
Yeah, nowadays we
goddamn.
can't go back
It
to
is
I mean,
that.
once you got
now.
used
It
to
is
it,
big.
it felt good, you know. And then they had that, the black and white buttons, and you
Yeah,
know, it was
sure
like,
did.
It was a comfortable
Yep.
controller at the time.
The black and whites eventually became like the back button and the share button, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, man, I remember all of that, and I just, it's funny because Halo now is my favorite franchise of all time. And at the time, I wasn't even heavy into first-person shooters then. And I remember buying Dead or Alive 3, and I said I needed another game. And I said, they like, oh, you can get this Halo game. I'm like, oh, that's that one they showed I remember on YouTube, and well, not YouTube at the time. It was I forgot where I saw it, but they showed a gameplay of it, and I was
Isn't that
like,
crazy? Just like
yeah.
a website you saw it.
something like that. And they showed it, and I think I may have seen it in an official Xbox magazine or something. And I was like, yes, I'll try this out. I was playing Dead or Alive 3, going against my cousins and family and such, and eventually
Which was
decided
fire, by the
it
way.
was. And I decided finally to jump on Halo. And man, the rest was history. I remember just slowly being converted. Not even slowly, it was pretty fast. I was converted over to understanding, like, like, oh no, this is what I love. This is life. And man, I was just blown away. Well, speaking of Halo, since I'm actually talking on that, allow me now to showcase this for everybody in the chat and everybody here. 1 second. So here we have on November 25th, I wanted to highlight this, our brother Shane Bailey, who works and helps fund, or at least run, the charity fund of Game On Cancer, as you can see here, which we did a bit of a giveaway, not a giveaway. We did a bit of a charity run for them as well. We actually raised like $250, which I was very happy about, because I didn't think we would do that much. So I'm glad we could contribute in some way. And thank you all who did donate. So I want to draw you all's attention to this so you all could come by, because it's still for another charity run for the Game On Cancer. So here it says it's 8 days to go. Are you ready to throw it back to 2004? I'm sure he doesn't mean like back it up like you throwing that thing back on him. But that's the way it reads, like that, doesn't it? Throw it back to me, baby. Yeah. And raise some funds for Game On Cancer. He says, here are 14 faces bringing you the Halo 2 table read charity live stream as part of Holiday Spectacular. Live 12 p.m. AEDT Saturday, 25th November. You can tell they're not over here in America the way he wrote that. And here are some of the casts. I do want to make sure to highlight my boy Silent Cypher, who I spoke with and got him in there as well. And I see his image there. There he is. Silent Cypher is Commander Vadumi, a.k.a. Halfjaw, Commander Halfjaw, if you all will remember it. Now, I don't want anybody to take this and be like, man, Umbra sold out. He's playing as a space monkey. But no, I'm playing I'm playing as Captain, I'm playing as Tartarus. I was going to say Captain Tartarus. I want to give myself extra title, but Tartarus, and I am beyond hyped. When I tell you this, you might sound like, it is what it is. You're just doing a little table read. I am hyped to do this. Like you better
do my boy justice, dude. Because Tartarus was that dude.
Let me give you a taste. Hold on. Let me give y'all a taste of this. Hold on.
We'll take a taste.
Exclusive.
Noble prophets of truth and mercy, I have brought the incompetent.
I got a little bit. That's just a little taste.
Okay.
All right. You were not messing around. Did you get to like pick who you want it to be, or did you have to try out?
I just told him, hey, I want to get in on this. And Shane, to his credit, was like, oh, I know, because he knows I got a deeper voice profile. He was like, you know what? I can put you in this. Yeah, put you as Tartarus. I think that'll work for you. So I was like, yo, when I saw that, he was like, you can get Tartarus, or he said, hell, you can get Arbiter if you wanted to, I think at the time, or something like that. One of the elites. I was like, man, sign me up. I'm like, you said nothing but a word. So, a bloody fate awaits you and the rest of your incompetent race. I, Tartarus, chieftain of the brutes, will send you to it. I was like, man, you didn't say nothing but a word, Shane. Come on, man. So, I just want to give a highlight to this, and I hope you guys can come through and support us. We have here Will Norman as Master Chief. Now, all of these folks, I'm sure they're great. I haven't heard any of them do any of their voice profiles, so I don't know how they sound. I know how Silent Cypher sounds, so I know he'll do great as Halfjaw. So I already know that. He could have done a number of any elites or whatever, because his voice matches that. Mine matches the elites. Hell, mine matches Grave Mind. I thought I could have done that too. But Will Norman is Master Chief. Ashanks, is it? Ashanks? Yes. Ashanix. What? Ashanix? How did you say this, guys? Ashanix. Thank you. I was getting there.
I mean, I just made that shit up. So it sounds right.
I think that's right. Ashanix is Cortana. We have Terry Fear as the Arbiter, where it's so easy. We have Corey, whatever. I'm sorry, Core.
That was good too, man.
So I said I could have did the elites. Coranx or Corb. I'm not sure how you say this brother name. I'll just say Core for short. It's the prophet of truth. And Dev Marta is the heretic leader of Gravemind. Oh, that's a good one. You have Nictacular as Sergeant Johnson. I know what the ladies like. Miss Cannon as Commander Keys. Of course, Silent Cypher as Commander Vadami. Carrie Palmer as the Prophet of Mercy. You have Jeremy Bratsich as the Prophet of Regret. And Buzz is Lord Hood. Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that fix? We have Neon Mira as 343. Guilty Spark. And of course, Shane Bailey himself, who will be the host and narrator. Man, family, when I tell you again, I am beyond hyped. I mean every single word. But enough of that. Let's continue on with this news read. But
Real
again,
quick, his name
25th.
I think is Crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy. Like crazy, but like crazy.
You know
I'm
what?
telling you, I think that's the way.
Corate.
the way.
Corates. You know what? You might be right. Coratesy. Coratesy. I can see that.
Play on it, right?
Ah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like crazy.
Well, he must be crazy if he think we gonna assume that's what his name sounds like. No, seriously. Shout out to the cast. Shout out to Shane and of course the charity that they're running. If you guys happen to be free, it'll be November 25th. Again, I will be posting the updates for it on Twitter, so you guys will see my updates there. Would love for you guys to come by and support and give your feedback as we're doing our thing. I want to do one last shout out because I saw a few people join us, and I know we got a super chat as well. So I want to say I see my boy. Of course. Oh, we got a few donations. Jenna Knight Peter, what's up, Pete? What's up, Ice Cold? I see you guys joined in. Peter says, "Here's $10 for your next $70 game, bro." That is the way, Pete. Appreciate you. He gives a generous Australian $10 what do they call it? Dollary dues. And of course, my brother Captain Yak, faced captain. He says, Alan Wake 2 winning 2023 Game of the Year. Talk that S. I don't want to curse right now. Cap
It should win. It probably won't, but it should.
I remember Cap was like the only person I know who was steadfast on that game hitting as far as like Game of the Year and everything like that. I'll never forget that. He was dead on like this is going to be in the nominations, et cetera, et cetera. He was doing it well before it came out. And sure enough, it landed there. So I'm happy for him. And I know a lot of people are loving that game right now. So all love to them for that. I see you, Silent Cypher. He's up in there in the chat. What's up, brother? Yeah, we're going to kill it, man. I can't wait. G Maybe, what's up? And who did I see? Power Man, what's up, brother? I see you too. What's up with you? What else do we have in the news, Danny?
Well, don't forget to shout out Insomniac.
Insomniac
making a Superman game in their Spider-Man because I've never seen this motherfucker fly so much in my life.
Yeah.
I've never seen Spider-Man fly so much in my life.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
But
He's Spider Squirrel, man.
yeah.
Squirrel man.
Yeah, no, he's flying around a lot. He is flying around a lot in there. Yeah.
Umbra, it's that time, bro. I'll be right back. Right?
Okay. So just so you guys will be aware, she has to step away for a second to go take care of a few very important things, and he will be back with us probably by the time we get to the main get somewhere into the main topic. But what else did we have, Danny?
WB is making a push into live services, and we have a couple of examples of that already. Specifically, this comes from Zaslav literally just saying this in one of their, I think it was an earnings report. He said they're doing it to drive more engagement and generate more post-purchase revenue, which is just microtransactions, basically. We know that they're already looking to sort of seemingly kind of retcon these into existing games because they've added a new job posting for Wonder Woman they're hiring somebody to basically add live service elements to that game. And then we also already knew that Suicide Squad was going to be live service, but they dropped another trailer for it today or yesterday or something that like very much also doubled down on it. Yeah. So I guess we gotta just as an industry learn the harsh reality that most of these live service games will absolutely not find their audience and fail immediately. Yeah, so
it sucks
to see WB making this move.
It does. It sucks to see them doing that. I know we saw with the Wonder Woman and such that it probably will be that as well. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I feel like maybe they have to continue failing until they get the message. And I know it could be lucrative. We all know that when I'm getting into like live service and such. But man, there's so much room for failure. I look at like Avengers and I'm like, you all didn't learn from that, or I don't know. I feel.
I mean,
man,
it feels like
the sad part is they're not smart enough to like do it with one and not with the other, right? I think if they did it with this got the name this crew with the shark and all these guys, right?
Oh, the Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. They did it with that. They're a crew that they don't really matter in the universe, right? So it's like you do it with that kind of game, fine. People may accept it because it's not a bunch of known characters. But then you do it in Wonder Woman, it's like, bruh.
You say that, but people have very much not been accepting it with Suicide Squad either. That's been one of the big detractions from that game.
Even more so with something like Wonder Woman,
for sure.
Right? Like that's an IP that you want to play as Wonder Woman, as a hero in a single player game. Like it's just it doesn't need live services. It just doesn't even make any sense. So I mean, we haven't seen it, but like when you see it, it's just not going to make any sense, right?
Yeah,
just
I mean, it
like,
does feel like they're sort of adding it in at the end. So
yeah,
hopefully
just
there
forcing
won't
it
be
on,
too
right?
much of it. I'm hoping that it's just like cosmetic shit or something. But I guess we'll see that. The new trailer for Suicide Squad, I'm like really up and down on, because it's like, oh, this open world looks really good, and it's like none of these characters feel like how they should. Like not a single one looks or feels.
That's the problem I had when they first showed it.
Like it's
so
same.
Weird. Like it didn't make any sense, right? Like
I'm like, why is King Shark flying across this city? Like,
it's ridiculous.
It's very. I don't know. It feels like they had an idea for a very different game, and then someone was like, make it DC though, and then they just like slapped this franchise on top.
You know what? That's a fair point, because you see this, and it's set in Metropolis, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It's set in Metropolis, but it's a sequel. This is what really annoys me about it, probably more so than anything, and I wish they had just not said this. So Gotham Knight's not in the Arkham universe. It's not in the Arkham games universe. Suicide Squad, though, is. So that is the Arkham City Harley Quinn flying around doing whatever the hell. And that also means canonically that whatever Batman is in this is also the one that, I mean, spoilers still matter, who like supposedly killed, like blew up at the end of Night. So like, I don't know what that's all about. And then like we're finally seeing this Justice League, and they're all like just the shittiest looking versions possible. Like that clip we saw of the Flash was awful.
Oh yes,
made me want to die.
It was terrible. You know, that's par for the course for DC though. They don't seem to know what the hell they want to do, to me, honestly.
No.
Now Marvel is in that situation now too, but DC has been there for a while, and I see this, man. And you're right, the designs are not great to me. I think they also do this whole, and I hate to say this like this, and I hope nobody takes it the wrong way, but man, we play tons and see tons of media. We watch anime and everything else. It seems like our Eastern brothers, they don't shy away from keeping, like, I guess if you want to call it the cheesecake, they don't shy away from keeping things as they were, right? I'm not saying that some characters,
even like Goofy,
not
like
even
cheesecake,
not even just Goofy, but like cheesecake, when they say that, it's like for like the ladies and shapeliness and all that.
Oh, I've never heard that. I've heard cheesecake in terms of like every time I've heard cheesecake, I've heard it has been like goofy, like cartoony. That
oh wow, okay, so yeah, I get.
Oh okay.
Well, cheesecake, from my understanding, has always been like showing like the goods, the shapeliness, everything like that. But our Western side, when it comes to devs, if you all have not noticed, it's become very political, where now women models and such have to be made to look very average, sometimes even beyond
you're right,
that.
but also, because this is a live service game, they'll probably just charge you $20 to get Harley Quinn into something from like Arkham City or something.
They already talk about the throwback. If you didn't see that,
they just want to. I didn't see it. I really haven't looked much into this game because I'm very, very uninterested. But I just assume that if you want to dress your characters like that they'll just charge you extra.
They probably will. You're probably right.
That's the capitalistic way of doing it. So.
You're probably right. They have the classic outfits for them, where it has her in her classic Harley Quinn outfit. So
just give me the New 52 King Shark where he's a hammerhead, and that's all I want.
Yeah, but my thing is about that whole thing is I don't like that they kind of change everything so dramatically. So when you say this is the Harley Quinn from the Arkham games, it's like this looks nothing really like that Harley anymore. None of the characters look the same, and I feel like you said it's a game that was meant to be something else.
I don't think we've seen the only other character that this is the weirdest thing to me. The only other character that we've seen, I think, in the Arkham games that we've also seen in this would be Deadshot. And in the Arkham games, he was a white dude, and then this one he's a black dude. And I'm like, all right, well then, like, is this the same universe?
That's
or is
why I
this a different
said it's a
Deadshot?
lot of his
Like,
very
I don't
weird.
care really, but like, just don't say it's in the same universe, because that implies a lot of things that are very stupid to imply.
Yeah, I don't think they quite knew which way they wanted to
but-
go with it. But again,
yeah, I really don't
since
think
they
they
are
did.
in Metropolis, I feel like, especially since we're going against the Justice League, that maybe that rumor of them making that Superman game was true. Maybe that was what they were going to do. And
It's possible, and then they just took that open world and repurposed it.
exactly.
When they, like, ran out of ideas for that game or something.
That's what I'm wondering.
It's really disappointing. I would have much rather had a Superman game.
Yeah, it would have been crazy to. And that's another thing I wanted to say before we move on, is that it's Rocksteady, and I see this, and I feel so disheartened, because it's like,
Well, it's the
Rocksteady,
same-
you're so much better than giving us a live service game like this.
Yeah, well, it's the exact same set of mistakes that Bethesda was making before they ended up getting purchased. is
True.
They were like, we're not making the money we need to make, which Warner Brothers in general isn't. Which I don't know. Hopefully that turns around soon, because I do really think that if they can limp it along to 2020, we got a release date for the new Superman movie. It's like
Right.
July 11th, 2025.
Mhm.
I didn't have that in the rundown because I didn't think there was much to say about it other than just restating that fact. But if they can limp it along to that point, I do think that they will probably start seeing increases in their like movie sales, because James Gunn knows how to make a movie.
Yeah.
So, but that's, they got to make it through to 2024, and I genuinely do not know what they have that year. Other than I think the Suicide Squad game is still supposed to be next year, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same trap of like, we don't have enough money. How do we make more money? We'll just pass it on to the gamers and try and figure out how to nickel and dime them out of everything. And like, it's just like, that's never worked. Like that has never worked. I cannot think of a single instance in which a single player
Me
studio
either.
has pivoted into a live service realm and just like crushed it immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's
and
most
probably
failed.
been a
Absolutely do.
couple where they've
Yeah,
like
most failed,
stumbled
straight up and
through it
down.
and then eventually got to it. Like I think Epic
Mhm.
technically qualifies under that category, but like
Epic, I wouldn't really give it to them, because I know you got probably talking from the Gears of War situation, but
yeah, well no, even before that they
Yeah.
did like licensed shit.
yeah.
But like they eventually got to it, you know what I mean? But it took like a
but
very long
you
time
can't-
to get to the
you can't
point where
forget
like
that Fortnite wasn't popping when it first came out.
It
wasn't
also
wasn't.
true.
It wasn't even
Yeah.
the same game, right?
Sure
a
wasn't.
It
totally
wasn't even
different game.
it wasn't even like a live
Right.
service game when it came out, to be
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, it's just generally a bad idea, and I'm really sad to see so many teams do this exact same thing over and over and over again,
Mhm.
and then watch other teams fail and be like, "But we got it.
We'll
though.
do it,
But
right?"
us- but we're better."
You know what? It's funny they got
so-
the main character syndrome, I guess you
Yeah.
could say, because a lot of us have that in life. Like, well, if that person did this and that thing happened and backfired on them, but not me. It won't happen to me.
Oh, we'll nail it.
Yeah.
I'm the best at this, clearly.
We're the best around. But yeah, and I feel like, man, yeah, I just look at it, and it's a Rocksteady. I love Rocksteady. Much like Drawn TJ, I would love for Microsoft to acquire WB Games.
Yeah,
We've talked
I
about this
don't-
plenty of times, but I just feel like, why waste your talent on this instead of what we know you for in a strong narrative and single player
Yeah.
thing? I don't know, but whatever. But what else did we have? Oh, before we go, I guess I'll read this. Shout out to my brother Jedi Knight Peter. He gives another $5 dues. He says, it's Shane Bailey just posted that the event will be on his Twitch channel. He will post the link next week. Thank you for that, Peter.
Cool.
So I saw Blood Wolf did ask where can he watch this, and I figured it would be on YouTube, so I didn't really sweat the details, but thank you for that, and I'm sure he will, and I'll make sure to post that too when it's time. What's up, Palpatine? Yeah, what else did we have, Pete? I mean, excuse me, now I'm calling you Pete. Damn you, Pete. What's up? What's next, Danny?
We got some news about Baldur's Gate 3, specifically the Xbox version. So they've doubled down that it's coming to Xbox this year, which is pretty cool. And they've basically, all the rumors are saying that it'll come out early December, which is coincidentally also when the Game Awards are. And they
Mhm.
also said that they're going to let us know when it's coming out at the Game Awards. So I guess like a shadow drop is not completely off the table, because if anything else they announce is going to be like, if it's still going to hit that window, which I seem very confident that it will, any other announcement would have to be like 2 weeks, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, I don't know, just put it out, I guess.
What would you all
especially-
say on that? Like, I feel like it'll it'll be announced to come to Xbox maybe that day on the
Yeah,
Game Awards.
I would just say Shadow Drop.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah,
thing.
I mean,
I think
Why
the
not? Get the hype
collector
going.
edition had just been outed recently.
yeah. So they also announced
today
a
as
physical
well, right?
edition today.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The physical edition, I assume, will probably not Shadow Drop. Like, I think they'll probably just launch they'll be like, oh, it's Shadow Dropped, or like maybe they'll put it in Game Pass or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's another popular theory is that it'll drop into Game Pass.
Yeah.
What do you
I will
guys think the
say-
odds are of that though? Because like, yeah, it's
I'll give it
possible.
like a solid 40. I think it's possible, but I don't think it's particularly likely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's just it's interesting the way that they're going to use the show to show it
Yeah.
or to announce it. Like, oh, we're going to pre-announce our announcement for your game that already came out already. So it's interesting.
right.
So
Yeah.
just saying that, oh, we're gonna. The announcement can't just be, oh, it's out this day.
Right.
That'd be, I don't know, like what sense does that make now that we know that there's a physical copy as well, right?
Mhm.
And I think we have the date for
yeah.
that already.
Well, there's a
so
couple of weird things about the
it's
physical
kind of weird,
edition.
yeah. So I mean that kind of a little bit lends more to there being something more than just telling us a date. So
Right.
Yeah. Well,
This is
there's also some weird things about the physical edition that I kind of wanted to point out.
What's that?
So the PS5 version that came out earlier this year has 2 discs, or did it come out physically already on PS5, or was it only digital?
No, it
I
did
actually
not. I
don't
think
know.
it-
Is it
I
just
think it
digital?
did.
Anyway, so the PS5 version that they announced them at the same time. PS5 version has 2 discs. The Xbox One has 3, which
What?
doesn't make sense to me because they've
Yeah.
got the same. Like the
I
discs
don't
are
think they
the
have the same
same.
disk drive. So I think I heard this before, and I couldn't verify, but I did hear it like a couple of months back. Something about the DVD, the Blu-ray drive on the Xbox isn't the same. It is
Well,
a
but it
lower
wouldn't
capacity
really.
drive.
Well, but it wouldn't matter about the disc.
No,
It wouldn't
no,
matter about the drive on the system. The data is stored on the disc. As long as it can read that, that's all
no,
that
no.
matters.
It does matter, right? Because if one is one is a triple layer disc and the other is dual layer, you can't store the same amount of data on that disc.
Mm,
So remember, like back in the
Sure.
DVD,
in a
CD
Blu-ray
era,
situation, yeah.
right? So I think it might be a Blu-ray situation where their drive doesn't have the same capacity,
Mm.
which is why you have 3 discs. So, but I mean, we
Hmm.
won't be able to confirm that until the
Until
till we find out the
Well,
the full file size
does the
of game.
PS5 have a better drive? Because I don't remember that being a thing.
I recall seeing it somewhere else for. I don't know. There was another game that was announced with a physical copy
Mhm.
that it also had a small less disc for it. So, and then at that time, I had looked into it a little bit, and somebody had said that the drive was
Uh-huh.
different, which I'm familiar with drive technology, so it'd be surprising, but not that surprising since Sony actually has, they're part of they're part of the consortium or whatever that created the Blu-ray
Yeah.
drives or whatever. So
Mhm.
they may have a drive that just is higher capacity, but I'd have to confirm it.
I
But
was.
that would be
yeah.
the only thing that makes sense, right?
I guess
that,
so. I was wondering, was it the magical SSD that enabled this
Must be.
Pixel? Is
Higher compression? No, I mean, we're seeing that for the most part they are
Yeah.
equally compressed,
equally
games,
yoked
right?
when it
But,
comes to that?
yeah, But
Now you
I'm
got some.
gonna try to
Also-
confirm it.
yeah.
Though. I'm gonna see if I can confirm it.
Yeah,
I
we
will
got.
also say
I saw what
the-
Kay Asante shouted you out. He said Pixel knows what he's talking about. Kay, would you think you could elaborate on it too? Or
Yeah,
do you-
this is-
yeah, like you got a little backup there.
I just want K and Pixelbit to fight. I'm just trying to start a fight club.
There we go. What the first
Trying
rule?
to turn them against each other.
What's the first rule about Fight Club between
We
them?
don't talk
Danny?
about Fight Club.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it. All right,
Right.
chat, be cool. Chat, be cool. Don't tell them.
What's up, Punty? What's up? Who else? Oh, Spartan. What's up, Spartan brother?
I do also want to add the deluxe edition sucks. The physical deluxe edition really sucks ass. Because here's what you get with it, right? Is you get a poster, but like a really small ass poster. It looks like it's like the size of a book. And even in the picture that they posted here, you can already see the folds in it. So that's cool. Like they didn't even bother to make it look nice for the photo.
Yeah.
Then you get 32 stickers, which like, wow, thank
Ooh.
you. It comes in a special box that looks like a book. Wow.
I could
you
put
get a
that on
world map.
my diary. Yay.
Wow. Yeah. You get a world map that's also very small. Which also my theory on that would be that it's just a map of the Sword Coast, because that's, to my knowledge, where this game takes place. So it's like, hey, you could just get that. Like those exist. Like Sword Coast is not a new thing. And then also you get the soundtrack, like a physical version of the soundtrack, and 2 patches. And it's like,
I thought you were about to say Tupac. I'm like, what'd you get?
no, you get 2 patches, neither of which I recognize. Like as an avid D&D player, neither of these are things that are especially interesting. I'm assuming one of them is, I don't know, some kind of like fire cult, and the other one looks like maybe a warband patch. I don't know. They must be relevant to the story in some way, but they're not like things that a D&D player would be excited about.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't sound like anything I would care for. For me, I've been digital master race since the beginning of the Xbox One gen. I just have no interest at all in the physical, so none of this appeals to me. And it's crazy because I'm a serious hardcore gamer, but I know a lot of people get like these collectibles, like, oh man, I got this thing here to put on my shelf, and all. I have almost no interest in that type of stuff. The only things that I might do that for would be like a Master Chief helmet or something like that, or something with Halo paraphernalia. But other than that, I have no interest in this stuff. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm the odd man out. I don't know, but I have no interest in that type of stuff. So none of that appeals to me, honestly.
Yeah, I've kind of gotten over that collecting stuff. I did it for, 30 years. So I'm like,
Oh yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
long while.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree if we didn't live in a world where like Disney just deleted a solid like 5% of their shit off of Disney Plus with absolutely no record. Like digital shit.
Wait a
can
minute,
just
tell
be
us
Disney.
more.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
I didn't know. But by the way, so just to give context, not context, but to give highlight that. So Kay says Pixel is exactly on point. It's about the layers on the disc and the lens in the console's compatibility with it. Okay. What's up, Boba?
Right, whatever.
Yeah, I confirmed that the PlayStation 5 is has up to 100 gigabytes per disc, right? I can't confirm what the Xbox is.
Okay.
But the last gen, the Xbox discs were.
But you
50
can't tell
gigs.
me that Baldur's Gate is 200 gigs.
It is.
Yeah, how much is that?
Not 200 gigs. Hold on.
So say we're approaching Call of Duty territory right there.
Let me tell you what it is. I'll give you a minute. Go ahead. Keep going.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, the Disney Plus thing.
Yeah.
Right. So this was like months and months ago. But Disney Plus removed like a bunch of their shit because it was just like they didn't want to pay the server fee or whatever. So like a bunch of shit, some of it even like brand new, like Willow or whatever, just completely got removed. And there was never physical releases of some of these shows. Like they took the Runaway show off Hulu because they own like 60% of Hulu or 30% of Hulu or some shit.
Don't they own all of it now? Like they're bringing Hulu to Disney Plus now, right?
That's true, but there's no word on this. The assumption is they're not bringing anything back. Also, they already deleted stuff off Disney Plus, so I think they're just merging the two. The point being, like, if things only get a digital release, like Alan Wake, they could just disappear, like at any time.
No, you make a good point.
For no reason.
You are taking a risk.
Yeah.
Good point.
Right, and especially when these things are $70. Like, I just don't. There are some companies that I would maybe trust to do that, but I don't know. Especially in the year we've just had, like my trust is at an all-time low for the games industry.
I hear you. Yeah, the whole preservation.
It's 124. Sorry, 124 unpacked. So, wondering if maybe they are using maybe there's some extras on that disc.
Maybe
music or something like that. Maybe some extras, video or something. You know.
Well, it's better than the PC version. The PC version's on one disc because it's literally just an installer. So
yeah, but that's why I just care for digital. I don't care for physical for that reason alone. I don't have time for all that. I know some people are like, "Oh, you're like, what's so bad about getting up and having to stand up and just put a disc in? You're lazy." I'm like, yes, I'm lazy. I just want to play the game. I don't want to have to get up and do this.
Convenience has a way of winning out, right? I have I have terabytes of storage, so I can take. Look, if I can, as long as I can back up your disc, back up my drive, which I can do. I take a bit by bit copy of any drive for the most part. So
absolutely,
that shit drives me crazy though. I've got this friend who he's primarily a PlayStation gamer, but he's not really a gamer. Well, okay, he's a gamer. He's not like in the weeds like us. You know what I mean? Like he plays like the sports games and some minor other shit. He has all of his shit installed at the same time, and he's like, "Oh, I can't get that game because I don't have enough memory on my PlayStation." I was like, uninstall something. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're stopping yourself from playing this new game because you don't have room. And he's like, well, I want to upgrade to this new SSD in it or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, just uninstall any. Like, when was the last time you played WWE 2K like 21?
Hey,
like, what are you doing?
You're admonishing the crowd here, man. I have like 16 terabytes on my Xbox.
Uninstall something.
And I do. I have no problem uninstalling something.
That's the thing. Like I've been in a
push it back on.
It's a constant exercise in deleting and re-adding things. So I definitely understand
stuff
why.
installs so fast these days.
Yeah, I mean, unless you have terrible upload speed, download
I guess
speeds.
that's true.
Yeah.
If you got really bad internet.
Yeah.
But at that point,
And
why
if
are you
you're
buying
just
digital
pushing
anyway?
yourself, you might just be pushing yourself to play a PlayStation game in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I'll make myself play something. And like, oh, the game's not there. Too bad.
Hold
Too
up.
bad.
The fact of the matter is that sometimes I don't have a lot of time. So like, if I gotta install something, or like if I get on PC and you say it's an update, guess what?
Yeah, but you
I'm moving on to the next console. Like I don't have time, right? So yeah, sometimes an install screen is screw up your days. So that's why.
Especially now. But like, especially now where you can install things from your phone or whatever. Like, I just don't understand keeping your entire library installed. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah. Well, what else do we have, Danny?
Oh, so Atlas and Sega are doing really good financially, so much so that Atlas specifically is raising their annual salary for all their employees by 15%. Now, this is partially because the company is doing really well, and also partially because Japan is being pretty based right now, actually, and they're pushing for all of their companies to raise people's wages to account for inflation, which I think is really cool.
I saw a few. It was them and it was somebody else, right?
And I wish that America would do that because I want to raise.
I know, right?
But this also comes off the back of an announcement from, I don't have his name here. I don't think they said it. It just said he was a representative director. But he basically was like, yeah, so basically we make more money if we launch on all the platforms. So we're going to do that going forward. And he was talking specific, I mean, shocker, right? And so, he said that specifically in a conversation where they were talking about like the next Persona, specifically Persona 6. So basically Persona 6 is going to launch day and date on Xbox. He said specifically, we believe that it would be possible for a major Persona title, such as a numbered release, to sell 5 million copies in its first year by releasing it and simultaneously worldwide from day one. So like basically people were asking specifically in regards to like Xbox, and that was his answer. And so it's like, hey, so because there's been this, I don't know if you've been seeing it, there's been this like debate of like, will the next Persona, not will they be acquired, but like, will the next Persona not come to Xbox because it's like has a history of starting on PlayStation, obviously, because they didn't start coming over to Xbox until 5. And I think level heads would have been like, well, Sega is just doing a lot of partnerships with Xbox lately. You know what I mean? Like they're really loving.
They're in bed now.
They have an entire, like, they did a full announcement for a strategic partnership with Xbox. So anybody thinking that game wasn't going to come to Xbox day one is bugging.
Yeah. Well, like, so people are still asking about it.
On like, hey, we are working together. And then they have that super game they're working on as well, right?
Yeah,
so
super game. Yep.
Those days of Xbox getting shunned by like, especially Sega of all people, those days are over.
Yeah, Sega's for sure not gonna do that. But there was just this like ongoing debate, and I guess somebody asked in one of these interviews, asked the director about it, and he was like, no, we make more money if it's on more things. And everyone was like, whoa.
Did they have 4 hooves?
Crazy.
Is that what was happening?
I have no idea. Yeah, it didn't. The website that talked about it wasn't the one that interviewed him, so I couldn't tell. They didn't say the name of the person.
Square Enix heard that and was like, huh? Put it on more platforms.
Nani? They said Nani?
Nani ke? What? In all the languages. Yeah.
Also, I'm sorry if I sound monotone. I've been up like all fucking day because I had to go in super early to work today.
You always sound monotone.
I'm like, what does he mean?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? He said, I'm sorry if I sound monotone. I had just, I'm like, Daddy, you always sound laid back like that.
I don't want to hear that from the bass section. Like your voice is doing octave jumps.
Hey, I can't listen. I can't help it. My voice is just rhythmically.
You're down there at the double bass. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's funny.
What else do we have?
The bass show right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So that
you're deep like us. Pause.
Video games.
Yeah, okay.
Pause. Yeah, get deep like us.
We just got 2 more, but they're not video game related.
Yeah.
So the one I got here is hey, Pedro Pascal is Reed Richards probably.
Hell no.
Like probably. Like there's a lot of these things where it's like it is confirmed, and then like a different one's will be like, well, they're still trying to figure out if it's going to fit a schedule, but like
I saw the community
seems-
notes.
yeah, it seems really
that.
heavily
Yeah.
that it seems like he's minimally the front runner. Like he's the guy that they're talking about very heavily, and it seems like he is interested, and they're just trying to figure out like how it's going to work monetarily and stuff. So it seems like that he is very likely going to end up being our Reed Richards, and I don't know how I feel about that. Like he's a good actor. I don't see him as
Pedro Pascal. I love Pedro, man, and I know I know exactly how I feel. Hell to the no. Like for one, stop putting him in every single thing just because of his namesake. And I love him, man, but don't throw him into roles that like that's another thing I dislike about everything now. Like I'm being a comic head, and that's why I had some issues with Spider-Man, by the way, changes that I didn't care for. I hate when there are changes made that don't have to be made. Pedro is a fine Spanish man, right? Fine. But don't force him as to, Caucasian Reed Richards, who's all super like a nerdied up. Like it just doesn't fit for me.
I think the internet would want to correct you to say he's a fine Spanish daddy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've existed on the internet.
I don't like to say.
You would say papi.
Yeah, I see. I don't want to. I don't want to add all that extra stuff that's too spicy for me.
This is a conversation that's been going on Twitter for a while.
You got to pause on that one, man.
Yeah, pause. What pause at? Talking about Poppy like it was nothing.
I was just correcting Danny. Danny saying daddy.
I'm just telling you what the internet says, and you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, man. I like I said, I love Pedro, man. I think he's an excellent actor. Everything he's been in, pretty much, I've loved. But I don't want him pretty much. I'm not everything. Not everything.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, well,
that's pretty bad.
There you go. That's fair. That's DC though. That's the curse of DC. But
that's true.
But in general, like I feel like the man is spectacular. Put him in almost everything, fine, but not as Reed Richards. I can't imagine him speaking as Reed and hearing his voice, knowing how he sounds, and we all know how Pedro sounds. Trying to talk as Reed.
Are they going to change it? Are they going to change the base character? Like, are they going to try to?
They could
turn him into a.
I mean, they would have to some degree, right?
I mean, they did it to.
They don't really have to. I mean, he's playing Joel.
They did it to The Last of Us, right?
They did.
Like Joel's not
a little bit
Spanish.
Well, to be fair,
but Joel's not Spanish, and neither is
Pedro.
Jen, right?
Well, Pedro is not. Oh yeah, no. They do have him as his Spanish on the show.
Man.
On the show, I'm saying like that they have him represent that, and they absolutely did.
He's like from Mexico.
Yeah, they did.
Show?
Him and his brother. That's right. They sure did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they changed him.
Yeah, they
but
did
not
change
Mandalorian.
It. Not
right?
Mandalorian.
He just who he is what he is.
Yeah.
I'm honestly even less.
I don't
concerned about
think it matters to Spanish.
Yeah, the race of Reed Richards doesn't like that doesn't matter to me so much as long as he's a nerd. The thing that's weird to me is that he's like 50 years old. Because it's like, hey guys, your problem in the MCU right now is that you killed off all your important characters, and you need to add big characters back in that people will actually like identify with and love. And Pedro Pascal has the merit to do that, and I think that's why they cast him, is because he's beloved. Like everyone fucking loves this guy. But at the same time, he's 50. Like he's not going to stick around that long. He's got 5 million other projects he's working on. Like you're not going to be able to use him very often. You know what? You're not going to be able to use him for very long.
You know what else it is too is that they have to get out of this thing where we got to get a named person. No, you don't necessarily need that. I think even with Robert Downey Jr. when they had him as Iron Man cast at first. Robert Downey Jr. was an outcast at that point. Nobody was.
Yeah, but to be fair, with Robert Downey Jr., he actually was Iron Man.
No,
he was great.
No,
sure. I don't think there's any debate on that.
Hold on. I'm not talking about
the problem, though.
I'm talking about his acting. I'm talking about all the shit he had.
Talking about the alcohol and all that, and the and the drugs.
He literally was the character. Like he was that dude. He was living all the messes.
No, I'm with you there. But I'm talking about as far as like star power. His star power had well diminished at that point. Nobody wanted to use him. They couldn't get him insurance. All of these things, and then all of a sudden, Favreau, who had been a saint to us as far as nerd culture goes, says, I'm going to cast him anyway. And because I have faith in him. They're friends. I know what he can do. We know Robert Downey Jr. can act his ass off.
So then what we're saying is we should cast Amber Heard.
Oh, no. God, no. Well, she'll leave a turd on the production. But my thing is this, like, I feel like give these other unknown actors a chance, lesser known, hell, at a point, Chris Hemsworth, all of these guys were, well, unknown. Chris Hemsworth was cast as unknown in Star Trek before as the father of the captain, right? At the point, I can't remember, drawing a blank of the name right now, but as Captain Kirk's father, he was cast as his father on there, but he died really literally.
That's
at the beginning
right.
of the movie.
Yeah.
Like he was nobody. So give a lot, and look at him now. But give these other actors and people a chance. That's the problem in Hollywood for me, is that it's the same old rotation of people, the same old
That's
rotation.
fair. Well, I will say, because I don't think
like
Marvel's been doing
superheroes
that
are also
too
nobody.
much. Like a lot of the people that they've been casting recently have been more unknown. Like obviously the person who plays I don't even remember what her hero name is, but like Monica Rambeau was a relative unknown, and like obviously the person who plays Ms. Marvel is, I think this is like her first project. I saw the Marvels. It was really bad.
Wait, you went to go see that?
In here, I went to go see it. It was really bad.
Oh, Danny.
I had some
Didn't
friends who
IGN
wanted
give
to
it an
see
8?
it, so we all went.
Didn't IGN give it an 8?
Did they?
I don't know, probably. It's really bad though. Like it's super cringe.
They gave it an 8.
Look, Danny is far more progressive than me on some of these things, and he's telling you that movie was cringe.
Well, yeah, I mean the movie's not bad because it has women in it. It's bad because it's written like shit and looks like shit.
Well, see, even beyond that, like the whole women thing, like I'm not. When I say progressive, I don't mean I don't want women to advance. I'm that progressive.
No, but that is sort of the argument. Is like if you don't like the movie,
yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, you made me a damn incel. Wait a minute, Danny. No.
It's like because one of the people that I work with, I was like, yeah, I didn't really like it. And he's like, I think you don't like women. And he was joking.
He jumped.
That is,
okay. I was going to say,
he was joking. But that is like the argument online is it's like, if you don't like the movie, then you either don't like fun or don't like women.
You know,
and it's like, no, I like both of those things. The movie was just really bad.
You know, I'm sorry to say this, and I know I don't want to go too far off point, but I hate that people jump to like stuff like that immediately when you say something. Like I talked about.
I think in this case, the reason they do it is because they don't have another defense of this movie because it is just very bad.
My nephew hit me up. He was like, "Hey, Unc, you want to go see? I want to go to the movies. Blah blah blah." I'm like, "What do you want to see?" I wouldn't want to see Barbie before I saw this, but I haven't seen Barbie.
Apparently Barbie was really good.
I heard it was good, but if he'd have said that, I'm like, I guess. He said, "Hey, I can get you free tickets to go see it." I said, "What movie are you talking about?" He said The Marvels. I was like, "Oh, no, thank you. I have no interest in seeing that. I already knew it was going to be trash."
That just makes you a bad uncle.
I know, right?
I would say, like, I did have a good time watching it,
bro. You could go see that shit by yourself.
Yeah, right. Oh, shout out Bushido. What's up with you, brother? He says, "Yo, yo, yo." I knew the rest of the sentence as soon as I saw the yo 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 part. It says Mr. Bushido in the 7 in the house. You know what time it is. Hands up. Shout out. I'm only shouting you out because Bushido hasn't been of the greatest of health lately. So shout out to you. Hope you're doing better.
I didn't know that. Are you okay? How you doing?
Yeah, hope you're doing better, brother.
But yeah, I'm gonna hijack the podcast for a second to just talk about this movie for like 30 seconds. So yeah, the problem with it is not the actors even, because I think Brie Larson is an extremely talented actress, even though people don't like her. I think she's very talented. She's an Oscar winner, which granted doesn't necessarily mean a lot because Jared Leto also has an Oscar.
Right.
But she is given absolutely nothing to work with in this movie. The writing, like if you wrote down on paper the things that happen in this movie, you'd be like, this is crazy. This is like the craziest Marvel movie that's ever happened. And then somehow in practice, they make all of those things super boring. This movie contains 2 of the most cringe scenes I think I've ever seen in Marvel, which is saying something because Love and Thunder happened.
Damn.
But I think I feel pretty confident about that. I do still think this is a better movie than both Love and Thunder and Eternals, but that's not saying a lot.
Yeah.
Because Iman Vellani is a lot of fun in it. But just like what I was saying when I saw Miss Marvel, it's like I really like this actress and I really like this character, but I wish she was in a project that was good.
Damn.
It's
something.
Oh, and it's got the worst villain, which is really saying something with Marvel. With Marvel, I would say their movies are.
Who was the villain?
Not great.
The main.
I don't even remember the character's name, which is unfortunate.
You know what's bad when you can't even remember who the person was.
Oh, I got it here because I pulled up the IMDb. It's Dar-Ben, played by Zawe Ashton, and I feel like Zawe is probably a perfectly fine actress, but there was just like nothing.
So Dar-Ben, that's obviously then a Kree person, right? That's what it sounds like.
She's Kree. I don't know the character from the comics at all. She might be new. I don't really know. The character does nothing of importance, and then
dies.
like,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just not important. She is the most like milquetoast boring villain of all time.
Yeah. It sounds terrible. And
Yeah,
I'm
it was.
so glad I
Did you
didn't
fall
waste my
asleep
time.
during the movie?
No, I did not. I actually had a pretty good time watching it because I was watching it with two of my best friends, and we were laughing a lot, not with the movie, unfortunately, but we were having a really good time watching it. It was just like it was one of those things where you walk out and you're like, that was bad. That was bad.
Yeah. Now,
why'd they do that thing with the cats? Ew.
Darbin,
You know what
by
I
the
mean?
way, is in the comics, at least the old school character, but that's old. I hadn't seen this character until now. But
yeah.
But,
A fun fact about that actress is she is apparently also married to Tom Hiddleston.
To
Loki.
Oh yeah, to Tom Hiddleston. Oh, okay.
Loki.
Yeah.
All right. I see she has the so what's that? The damn hammer judgment. What they call that thing that
I don't know that the hammer has a name. It's just Ronan's hammer.
Ronan's hammer.
I
Yeah.
know.
I don't know what the name of that thing is, but yeah, she has it.
I'm sure it's got one in the comics, but I couldn't tell you.
I can't remember. I used to know all this stuff like the back of my hand. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't waste my time on the movie. I'll just say that. And Marvel has fallen off so hard as far as just script writing and story crafting and world building. I don't know what they're doing. By the way, I didn't care for old girl as Captain Marvel. I never did. Never.
No, I think she's a really talented actress. I just don't think there's just something about the writing of this character where they just like don't let her emote or have feelings or do anything even remote, like anything other than just like punching a huge hole in a building. Not allowed.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. They make her just the most wooden character, and it's like Brie Larson is in a lot of other things, and she's really good in a lot of other things.
Yeah.
But she just like for some reason when she gets to Marvel, they hand her a script and they're like, "Hey, I know we hired you because you got an Oscar. What we want you to do is act as little as possible."
Yeah. Boba says the acting equivalent of a PS Portal. Oof.
So she's basically Alloy.
Yeah. Hey. Shout out to Yodani, by the way. I forgot to say. Yodani is our other mod. Thank you for being here, brother. I know you got here a little late, but better late than never. Appreciate you. Danny, what else do we have, man?
I got one more, and I know I just hijacked the last one. I made it about me, but this one's also about me. This one's also just for me. It's a mutiny, Captain. So I'm talking about wrestling. So AEW signed Kota Ibushi, one of the Golden Lovers. He's like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. He's really, really good. And they were like, "Hey, so he's been around for a while. Like he's been working at AEW, and he's been saying that he's like going to continue to work there. But they finally like put a ring on it. Basically, he signed a contract. And then immediately afterwards, Tony Khan, the guy who runs the place, he was like, "Hey, Full Gear, this Saturday, we have another huge signing to announce." And the way he said it, he implied that it was larger than Kota Ibushi. And there's really only a handful of people that are like currently free agents. And so the common theory is that it's either going to be Mercedes Moné, who you may know as Sasha Banks. She's one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet right now, no doubt. Or Will Ospreay, who is one of the best male wrestlers on the planet right now. So I'm very excited because they're both absolutely amazing, talented people. And it's specifically if it's Mercedes, I think that would be a bigger get for AEW because their women's division is a little weaker. Like their men's division is already absolutely stacked, so they don't necessarily need another huge talent.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm gonna be happy this Saturday. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
If it's either of those.
Yeah. I heard rumblings that CM Punk will be coming back to WWE.
Yeah. I don't think so. I think that there's going to be rumblings for a very long time of him going everywhere because that's just kind of what happens when CM Punk is a free agent.
Right.
Is everyone's like, "Oh, the CM Punk's going to be here. He's going to be there. He's going to be whatever." But no, there's still a lot of really bad blood between him and the higher ups at WWE, and that stuff lasts forever because it's a family run business. Yeah. So like, it's like you screwed over my dad, so I hate you, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So unless they are just like, well, he's going to make a lot of money, which they don't actually need right now because the people that they like, WWE is also kind of killing it right now. Like they have like Roman and Cody, and like they have so many huge name talent that they're really pushing and doing great things with. So I don't think they need CM Punk. And honestly, I'm looking at their roster. I don't really know what they would do with him.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. Maybe he could be
question.
anti somebody.
Do you have any update on Logan Paul in WWE?
Yeah, so he's currently champion. He's U.S. champion. He won it at
fuck
the. He did. He's the U.S. champion.
I take it you don't like that news.
He won the championship. Well, here, let me make it worse for you. He beat Rey Mysterio for it in
I
Saudi
saw that.
Arabia.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Um,
Then he had him on the show.
He had him on his show, probably. Yeah, I don't really follow his socials, but that makes sense. It's my least favorite thing to say when talking about wrestling, but Logan Paul is actually really good at it. Like, I hate that man so much, but goddamn, he's talented. I wish he wasn't. I wish to God he sucked, but he don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see him as he stays longer becoming more like big name in there? Like,
Oh, 100%. Yeah, if they can keep, because here's the thing: is he's a huge new draw for them. There's a lot of fans who are coming over to watch WWE for the first time because he's there. That's been documented. Like, they're making more money off of his thing, and also he's making more money off of it because he can sell Prime to a whole new group of people. He had KSI at one of the pay-per-views. I forget which one.
Yeah.
But he had him dressed in a giant bottle of Prime.
What the hell?
So like stuff is like it's so lucrative between the two of them. I cannot imagine that he's probably going to go anywhere else. And if he continues wrestling, the only thing I think standing between him and like a world title shot, or well, not even a world title shot, but holding the world title, is that they are really, really committed to this storyline with Roman Reigns right now.
Yeah.
And Logan Paul is not the person to take the title off him. Like, they're gonna have to build somebody a lot bigger than that. It's gonna have to be either like Cody or The Rock. Like, that's where we're at with that build.
Cody makes
like,
the most sense, but I feel
Cody
like
definitely makes the most sense.
Rock is probably going to be the one. Yeah, The Rock is back.
Either way.
Well,
he came back for like a day, and then the strike ended, and he's not been around. So,
he's like, oh, gotta go.
Yeah, so I don't know if he'll be back. So I'm hoping it's Cody.
Have
That's
my
what I
people
want
call
it to
your
be.
people. Yeah, I think
but
they'll use The Rock though, because I think the storyline was supposed to be The Rock taking the belt even at one point anyway, right?
Yeah, well, we don't know for sure, but that was a theory for a long time. Is that like, because he keeps, so the whole storyline of Roman right now is that he's like,
yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of backstory to this actually.
But
so
I don't want to go too
there's this
far
big-
into it because
yeah, I'll just wrap it up as fast as possible. But like, there's this really big lineage of Samoan wrestlers in specifically WWE, but like also the wider world of wrestling, where they're literally all related. So
Right.
it's like The Rock, Rikishi, Yokozuna, like all of them, right?
You know, I thought Yokozuna was Japanese for a long, long time.
Yeah, it's funny how they tricked us all with that one, huh?
Japanese?
Yeah,
he's
no.
Samoan.
Oh, you just found out.
Yeah,
Damn.
That's bullshit.
You worse than
That's
me.
bullshit.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Didn't he have like the Japanese fucking belt
Yes,
on?
he
Like,
did.
was he wearing
He
the
did.
colors?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. But
No, he was Samoan though.
Brother was
Bamboozled,
Samoan.
bro.
We
He was
were,
Samoan
yeah.
all the time.
They led us astray.
Razor Ramon was Hispanic, so I mean,
Sure
it is
wasn't.
what it is.
Yeah, Razor Ramon was just a white man. Yeah.
He's a white dude.
Hey,
Ramon wasn't
Chico.
fucking Spanish?
No, oh
dude.
damn.
Wow.
C Money learning a lot.
Also, hey, also, I just
Childhood.
if I'm just out here breaking your heart, Tatanka, also a white dude.
yeah. Yeah.
Tatanka was also a white dude.
He said Tatanka.
What the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah.
His whole world is crashing down on him, everybody.
Oh my god, wrestling is not real. This is horrible.
It's still real to me, damn it.
There was a lot that happened there. But yeah, so basically the thing that they're doing right now is like, it's the bloodline. So he's the head of the table. He's like, I'm the tribal chief. I'm the best of this family. And so he's built a stable of his other family members. It's like the Usos, and I think Nia Jax was like a part of it for a second. Like there's and Solo Sikoa mostly. Like those are the four, is him, the Usos, and Solo. And then every so often they'll be like, The Rock's here. Let's talk about Rikishi. Like stuff like that happens.
Right.
And so everyone was like, okay, well, who's the real head of the table? And they're like, well, he is the nephew of The Rock. So so they're like, this feels like the natural conclusion to this. But the other part of it is that The Rock just like doesn't really show up to WWE anymore. Like I guess he's too busy. Like he's too big and too cool.
I get
so
it. I mean, the man's super busy in Hollywood. What can you expect, right?
So probably the most likely thing would be for it to be Cody. But if it's The Rock, I don't think anyone would be mad about it.
Oh no.
Except then they would have to be the whole conversation would then just move to like, but then who could take it off The Rock?
Yeah.
Because they haven't really built anybody up in WWE to be a Rock level threat, except maybe Roman. And then it's like, so then do we just put it back on Roman and then have the same problem that we're having now, where he's held it for like 3 years? There's a lot going on.
Yeah. I just feel like WWE in some ways are aimless. Like I look at it now. Again, I go back to the era, Attitude Era, and I look at that and I look at this. sometimes I see little things that pique my interest. Like Roman, I think is actually really solid.
Roman's great.
So
yeah, the biggest things going on in WWE right now, if you want to just look up clips, would be anything with the bloodline, specifically Roman. Look up stuff with like Rhea Ripley. You don't need her whole stable. Literally,
I like.
just look at
Oh,
Rhea.
I
She's
like.
the most
I
important
like
one.
Rhea.
She's great. She's
yeah.
legitimately
I'll
great.
throw that out there. I like me some Rhea. That's an. Hey,
yeah,
by the
and
way,
Cody.
shout out by the way to the Australian brothers. Rhea Ripley is Australian.
Yeah.
That's a fine woman right there. Fine, strong
Yeah.
woman. Yeah.
And then like there's a tier below that of things that I'm really interested in, but I don't think necessarily break
Yeah.
break new ground or anything. Like I'm really excited that Kairi Sane is back, but like no one else cares. It seems like so.
I was about to say, who the hell is that?
Bro, real quick, bro.
Yeah.
What game are we watching right now?
She's
This
a pirate.
is she's a pirate. You say?
She's a pirate. She's like a
That's that Warhammer game.
Yeah,
she's
this
an
is
anime
Dark
pirate.
Tide.
She's really cool.
Yeah, Warhammer Dark Tide right
Oh,
here.
is it?
Yeah,
Nice.
and the gameplay is looking solid, huh?
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like I'm good.
Yeah. The game is visually great, but also, my skills as a player, I'm sure that impressed you.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I fell off Dark Tide.
I
pretty
was
fast
actually
because
wondering,
it's
like,
just,
why is this
good.
character playing so horribly? But I was watching everybody else play through the character. I was like, oh, they're doing good.
I knew you were going to try to turn this on me. This is not.
You went too hard, bro.
Pause. No, but no. So we're going to transition over to the main topic, which is, of course, the game of the year and everything else. Nominations for the VGA. Oh, excuse me. I said it right. The VGAs. So we'll start with the game of the year. Why not? So game of the year. And I guess I'll just kind of ask you guys questions as we go along. Danny, I think you had a few too, right? And
Yeah, I've definitely got a couple.
yeah, and I guess I want to ask you guys, since the title is Snubs and Dubs, what would you guys say? Pixel, I'll start with you on this. What do you think about this game of the year list? Do you agree with it largely? Do you have a few nitpicks on it? What's your overall take from the game of the year list here?
Yeah, I mean, just in general, I don't agree with adding Resident Evil 4 there, right? It's not 2005. I don't care that you remade it. I mean, okay. There are brand new games that came out this year that should be part of that list.
Yeah.
Alan Wake sort of has cemented itself as a runner, right? I mean, it's kind of the forerunner for the race, and
Alan Wake is like in the running for my favorite game of all time.
yeah,
right now,
and that's
so.
Oh man,
It's really good. It's really
for the
good.
niche
Yeah.
group that played it, right? I mean,
No way.
it's an awesome game. It looks great. I mean, I played it. It's good, but it's it's a graphical powerhouse. So
Yeah.
I think it deserves its space. Baldur's Gate, obviously, right? It kind of set a new standard for that kind of game.
The, like,
I did
most
not
niche
play
type of game ever,
Mario,
yes.
but I just can't see how Mario's in there. But people love Mario.
Yeah.
Zelda was the big talk of the town in the beginning of the year, so I can see how that would be there. That was kind of assumed.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if it wasn't there, to be honest.
Spider-Man kind of feels like a buggy gimme, but okay. But yeah, I mean, mainly those two, Spider-Man and Resident Evil 4. I'm like, really? Okay. But I mean, it's
yeah. So, but if you had to
it's kind of the expected list.
if you had to remove any one or two games and replace them with any other games, what would you remove? I'm already sure Resident Evil is one.
Yeah, Resident Evil be gone.
Yeah. What would you replace it with?
Yeah.
What would be your game?
Starfield.
Starfield. Would that be your game of the year? Starfield.
Yeah, that'd be my game of the year.
Okay.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
And now,
Just the sheer amount of time that I put into that game, and many other people have as well.
yeah,
Like,
I'm one of them.
You see how,
like
Umbra, do you
kind of
see
a
how
beast.
things are classified here?
What's that?
Okay, the sheer amount of time
Mhm.
he put into that game.
Yeah.
is
Same
what
here.
He goes by.
Same
All
here.
right?
Yeah.
That's why it's a 10, Umbra. It's not 8.5.
Yeah, I mean, I got beat with Umbra's 8.
Oh, no, is there bad blood here?
Game.
No.
Hey, do you? I guess.
Now,
I played this for 8
Critical.
hours. You know what?
Listen,
It's an 8.5.
don't turn this on me, okay? No, no.
Umbra, I can't believe you
How
didn't
many
nominate.
points are there? You're like, you know what? Let me stop him. Let me stop with this 1.5. This shit made me stop.
I remember when I first said I lowered to the 85. C Money was immediately like, but a 10 out of 10 for enjoyment, right? He's like, because you can't be saying what you just said. I'm like, no, well, yeah, you're right.
You were like, it's
At
an
least I can
8.5,
look
and you
at-
looked
I
out
can-
your window, and and C Money was out there with bottles on his fingers, clanging them together like the Warriors.
Come out and play. Right.
Oh, listen, at least we can say, Dan Stapleton only played it for like 50 hours. So his 7 is
Hey,
full of shit.
you know what?
But
I'm
at
not
least
even
we
mad
know
about
they-
that. The one I'm mad about is those ones that were on the podcast or whatever, where they played it for like, what was it, like 5 hours? And then they were like, I don't know, I don't like this.
Yes.
It's like, okay, first of all, why does your vote count? They don't count for the VGAs, which is like, that's good. But
Right.
like, why does your vote count towards the Metacritic? Why are we
exactly.
talking about this?
Not to mention other people who threw purposely lower scores and made it clear that they were doing it. I didn't like that. I didn't like
That
that.
one's weird.
But as far as that goes with Starfield, my biggest reason why I lowered the score, just to give a bit of context, is love the game. Put what 300 and I got to be at 350 hours, close to, if not.
Damn.
Yeah. So time investment. That's why I feel it's still my game of the year, because I loved every minute pretty much of playing that game.
I don't think I put that much time in it, and I had to play it twice.
See, you see what I mean? So I loved the game. Now start with Spider-Man, for instance. I lowered that down from a 9 to an 8.52, but for different reasons. But as far as time, and I did enjoy Spider-Man too, combat wise, traversal, but story wise, I had issues with after I really paid attention. And some things I didn't like with Miles, how they did his hair. Like my nitpicks added up.
That game for?
Probably total of about 40 hours for Spider-Man.
40 hours. Okay. So what was
Played
your
it
score for
twice.
Spider-Man?
85.
Okay.
Yeah,
85.
8.5.
You gave it the same fucking score?
Same score.
Here, listen, I think I'm in
So
that
you
same
played
ballpark.
Starfield 6 times more, but you gave it the same score.
Same score. And
Yeah.
I'll tell
Damn
you
it,
why.
Umbra.
I'll tell you why.
Damn it,
I agree
Umbra.
too.
I'm sorry to say it, but I'm fair when it comes to that type of stuff. I really am. And Starfield is, it's beloved to me. Trust me when I tell you. You already know. I don't put that much time in something I don't love. Nobody does that. But when the thing that I put so much time in is to learn what I didn't like and did love, right? And some of the things I didn't like about Starfield is it does have some stuff that's outdated. And you look at Baldur's Gate, and I was watching some playthrough of it on Xbox Era the other day. Shout out to Jesse. And you see, and my boy Cass, he did point this out. He said, look at the mocap and all that for Baldur's Gate and how they do the facial animations.
Mocap does not make a game better for me. It just
Well,
does
for
some
me, it does
gameplay
help
done.
story-wise,
so-
right? Like I like the story elements
Okay,
to
so
really
hold on.
kick
How
in.
about what if Baldur's Gate didn't do that?
Well, then I don't know. I haven't played Baldur's Gate.
Then
Baldur's Gate to
it
say.
would be. So I did play
Then
Baldur's
it'll be
Gate. I
a
got a
9.
lot of
Then
hours
it'll
in
be a
it.
9
right?
and a half.
So
I don't know
has
anything
its
about Baldur's
own
Gate
share of
besides that.
jank. It
I'm
has
sure.
its own
I'm
share
sure
of
it
jank,
does,
but it's
right?
a great game.
Well,
It
no,
is a
but
great
see, this
game,
isn't a comparison on as far as scores. I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about as far as features. And my thing as far as the feature, Starfield, it didn't have. I don't think it's modern enough. I think Bethesda could modernize some things about it. Be it the dialogue wheel.
Interiors?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me give you my full
Shit.
thing. But beyond the
All right,
dialogue choices and options, beyond how they have the character models done when they talk and things of that nature. I'm talking even cutscenes. It was one cutscene. I pointed this out before, and that was the Terramorph. There was nothing else, and I think it's kind of an outdated way they approach that versus the modern stuff we see now. And I'm not saying it needs to be Call of Duty
Gotcha.
esque
Gotcha.
kind of set pieces,
Mm.
but imagine having that.
the noise
Think of Mass Effect, and then think of Starfield, and you see how they present.
Oh,
the
you mean like
story.
the 8-minute elevator ride?
Oh,
That they hit the
not
road?
that. I'm talking about
Hey,
cinematically.
You just listen.
Yeah,
Don't
there's
bring
some-
back
Mass
bad
Effect
memories.
catching strays.
Yeah.
What's
something
happening?
about
I'm just saying,
about
Mass Effect was amazing,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying?
something- yeah, like the things are outdated. Like lots of games have things that are outdated in them, right?
Mhm.
In their design. Baldur's Gate is not immune to that, right? It while
No.
it does handle its
about when you
voice
walk around.
acting and the way it emotes its characters very well, the rest of the gameplay is quite outdated. I mean,
Exactly.
it's a
That's
what's
so
point
stupid,
and click
Pixel.
adventure. So it's like,
Bro, it's
and for
that's the most outdated form of gameplay ever.
Right.
Click
You
Yeah,
here,
by the
your
way,
character
both of
moves.
you all
Here's the
have
thing,
played
right?
that, by the way. You and
No,
C-Money
hold
have
on,
played
hold
it.
on.
That's true.
You know,
I
right?
played it.
I got like 200 hours in both,
Whoa.
right?
Damn.
So I played them.
Oh.
It's a great game,
Okay.
but
I was good until I almost got
not-
date rape.
they're not.
That's
Sweat.
Was it the bear?
No, the bear. I eluded him. It
Oh,
was
man,
magic.
the
dude.
He said I
Man,
eluded him.
I eluded that fucker. But the other
You
one,
got away from the
he
bear. Huh?
fucking tricked me. He's standing in the camp,
Yeah.
staring at a woman in his hand.
Yeah.
What?
That's
what-
so weird.
what
I don't know
leads
what's
you to
happening in this
connect those
sentence.
dots?
Well, but did you hear
I'm
that
like,
they
yo,
patched
let's
it
look
to
at
make it
her.
less
Let's see
horny?
what's going on.
They did. Oh yeah,
They
they
had to
did
patch it to make it less horny because they had like the fact that everyone was trying to bone you so fast was apparently a bug.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
quality.
Yo,
Yeah,
yeah.
facts. Yeah,
It
yeah.
happened so fast, bro. So fast.
Well, he said it happened so
Yeah.
fast. He
You
sounds
thought you
like
were
a
just charming. No,
he sounds like a
it's bug.
victim off SVU right now. It happened so fast. I don't know what
No,
happened.
I'm telling you,
Oh,
listen,
man.
I swear to God,
Doodle,
that
I'm sorry, it
moment
just
right
happened.
there- listen, that moment right
C
there
Money, it's not your fault.
made me actually
It's
feel
not your fault,
how
C Money.
how a woman must feel. What happened?
Oh, wait. I said it's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not your
Oh
fault.
yeah. It's not my fault. No, honestly, I swear to God, that has to be how a woman feels when you're like friends with her and you think you're picking up fucking signals or something, and then you try to go in or try to make a move, and she's like, "Motherfucker, I was just being nice. Like I was just being
Well,
nice
maybe
to
we should have put
you."
Baldur's Gate up for Games for Impact then, if it gave you such a high level of empathy.
You know what? Listen, that
I'm
is
telling you.
that brings up an
Wow.
interesting thought right there. Actually, and I do want to go to you next, C Money, on this, but that brings up an interesting thought because like you said, the time we put in, just like Pixel said, the time I put into Starfield, that's what made it my game of the year because I loved all of that exploring. I loved so much about it. I'm just being real critical when I say there are some things that held it back from being a 9 and more for me, right? But as far as if we're talking about impact, the game impacted me more than any other game I played this year. So that's maybe there could be other categories that better fit, and maybe we as a community can better come up with some things for that. But and there's some things, there's some jank here with the whole the categories they have here for the VGAs that should be revamped. There's just a lot of nonsense, right? So
Yeah, it's got some problems.
it does. But for you, C, what would you say as far as the game of the year? You agree with it largely, disagree with it largely? What would you remove and replace things with?
So, all right. So number one, the same thing as Pixel, Resident Evil. Come on, phenomenal game. You were already game of the year. You can't come back, put another coat of paint, and be like, "I'm ready for my second." Like, nah, it's already happened. All right, so let's stop with that. I don't care if they made slight changes. It's the same game that we're predisposed to loving, but modernized. Who the hell is not gonna love that game?
I'm sorry, are you
So
talking about
let's-
Mario?
Mario
No,
fits
no.
that bill
You
too.
can include-
Because
you can
everything
include
you just
Mario
said
in
could have
that,
been applied
but,
to
you know,
Mario.
Sure
people
could
will
have.
fight
Listen,
tooth and nail on that
listen,
one.
I'm coming for Mario too.
Hell, you could throw
Mario,
Zelda in
I
there
don't-
too. Actually, now that you really mentioned that.
Yeah, well, listen, if I'm being honest, I don't think Zelda should be there, but I do feel like there's something to the idea that Game of the Year should, at the very least, make room for at least one from each game, each console.
Each platform, yeah.
So, yeah, Nintendo should have a representative there.
Mhm.
PlayStation should have one representative there.
Mhm.
Xbox should have one representative there. And then, unless it's like obvious, like these games are horrible, right? But let's
Right.
be real. PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo are not going to not make one fucking decent game.
This is
You know
the
what I'm
thing.
saying?
I agree with you. And then somebody else made a chat on Boom Show that made it highlighted that. They said 30-30, but it should have been more like 40-40-40. But I agree with you 100%. Not to say that just give equal representation because I don't want participation trophies, right? If you're trash, you shouldn't
No,
just get
just
on
get
there because
one-
it's your platform. But
Yeah, more of a best of each.
absolutely.
platform, and
Give
then
a-
you pick the best one
Yeah.
across all platforms.
give a
right?
give a
That's
balance
fair.
because I think, and the reason why I say give a balance, and I agree with you there, is because you have over representation when it comes to Sony and Nintendo versus Xbox. We've seen it all year. You can look at the reviews. You can see how many review Xbox games versus the other two platforms, and I think that reflects as well when it comes to these journalists who shall not be named apparently, but and it's for good reason, to be fair, because the people will hound them.
You know what's wild?
What's
I
that?
heard. I was listening to the new Legal, right, in
Mhm.
his channel.
Yeah.
Because somebody shouted out. Somebody told me that he had shouted me out from the situation that happened at Booms, right? So I went and listened because I didn't really know he had a channel. So I went and listened, and he made such a fucking great point when he brought up the fact that people, Keely's out here saying 120 outlets, and he's like, motherfucker, Xbox can't even get 120 reviews on their games. Like, how are you gonna have? Like, how are the 120 outlets doing this if they're not even reviewing those games? Yo?
I think Starfield was like
It's
the only one that had 100 plus like reviews.
Yeah, like Starfield's the only one. And then I'm
and
you know,
most and a lot of those were on PC. They weren't even
Yep, so true.
Yeah. It's like, come on, man. Like, you guys, like, it's wild, yo. It's fucking infuriating, to be honest, how stupid this shit is.
It's not equal representation. And I think that's probably why it feels like a tax a lot of times, too. You know, the Xbox 100%. Tax is because there's so much representation and love on these other platforms, and we don't get that here on the Xbox side. We just don't. And I think there needs to be a change in how they handle that, really. Like, to me, I think the underrepresentation is the biggest problem, and that's why we keep getting... I think Xbox keeps getting treated the way it does, honestly. But
150%. Yeah. I would say that one. I would say so. Resident Evil 4 should be gone.
Remake, right?
I would leave Zelda because I feel out of the two, Zelda would be the one that deserves to be there over Mario. Mario, I'm sorry, but 2D Mario at this stage in our lives should not ever be up there.
I hate saying Mario like that too. I'm gonna be honest. I know some people say Mario and some people say Mario. I'm Mario. I'm a Mario type. You say Mario. I say Mario.
Nah, those are the people who wants to mock it. It's a me.
It's a me.
Mario. Mario.
Yeah.
Right.
Mario
Lopez.
Damn, I think it's Mario.
I think it's Mario too. I can't rock with Mario. Yeah, I hear some people say it. I've even heard Italians say Mario. So maybe I'm wrong.
It's just that we don't care enough about the name. Right?
I see. Yeah, that's fair enough.
But so I don't think 2D Mario deserves a spot. Like, if this was, Odyssey, then I'll be like, all right, like Odyssey was the shit.
Yeah.
But like outside of that, I don't think that should be there. So I would take out Mario, I would take out Resident Evil, and because of my rule that I just said, Spider-Man would have to be there. Technically, because it's the only one.
You sound like you don't want it there, though.
Yeah, and that's why
I don't want it there. You just heard me tell you that they just made a Superman game out of Spider-Man. Yo, they didn't have enough ideas to make Spider-Man cool that they said, you know what would be cool? Let's make this motherfucker fly everywhere. Yo, I watched your gameplay. 98% of the time, you're flying, not swinging. That's crazy.
That could be just due to me how I move around, right? Like I'm trying to get the most efficient movement.
Oh, no, you're doing it because that's the easiest way to move around.
It is the fact.
And nobody wants to role play as Spider-Man.
There's no reason to be on the ground in that game. There's no reason to be in the ground because there's nothing to do in the city.
That's true. No, that's part of the reason why I lowered it.
One click beating of certain of QTE missions, right? So you gotta move as fast as you can to get around. I mean, it's a big city.
You're not wrong.
Can't do anything in it, but it's a big city.
You're not wrong there. That's partly why I lowered the score too.
Mary Jane a jetpack.
Oh,
and just let you play as her, and you'll be.
She's a major reason why the score went down. Oh, anyway, but so before I'll get drugged and dragged into talking about that game.
You're gonna get drugged?
Dragged. I think C Money.
Are you hanging out with that same guy that C Money was trying to hide from? I
was just about to make a joke on there. You got me first.
What's going on?
Yeah. Damn you, C Money, and your damn grapey. I grape. I don't want to say the real word, but with your grapey Baldergate. Don't say grape instead. I think it's a big thing with the TOS when you say the R word.
Oh, is it? All right.
I think so.
Oh, okay. Grape. Grapes.
Yeah.
Damn grapes.
Grapes.
Nobody likes that.
Grape Street. We Crips now. But anyway.
Grape Street.
What?
I'm sorry.
So obviously, I would replace immediately
Resident Evil 4 remake for sure. And Mario
with Starfield.
Okay.
Yeah. So Resident Evil 4, Mario got to go, and it would be Starfield and Diablo 4.
Okay, that's solid.
Diablo 4 got bitch slapped because they're owned. They felt the same wrath as everything else. Is Diablo 4?
Yeah.
You're talking about, like, this is the thing that pisses me off because it's so freaking blatant. There is no version of this where you take these games that people were waiting for so long, highly anticipated bangers, okay, games that people were just, oh, I can't wait for it. Diablo 4, oh my God, Starfield, oh my God.
Yep.
They come out, they're fire.
Yep.
You can't look, I don't care what anybody says. if you try to come at me and tell me that Starfield doesn't deserve it, you're full of shit. You're a pony. And I'm sorry. I don't care if you hate PlayStation. You're a pony. That's all it is. That's all
I
it
will-
is. If you could say that it
yeah.
doesn't belong to be there.
I will
It's
say
a
this.
beast of a game.
I think it does belong there too, right? But that's my personal.
Absolutely.
But I'll say this more so. I agree with you 100% that games that had such major anticipation behind them and still largely delivered, like Starfield still landed at an 85 or 83 or whatever.
86.
It might be. 86.
Yeah, and you look at like
So 86
its player
and-
count, and it's
86 on
you know,
PC.
sales and
86 on
everything.
PC,
Like-
okay.
Like Starfield did what it needed to.
It did, and
If you look
it
at
might
that-
not have got
you
a
look at
90 plus whatever like I wanted, a 92, but it still
Yep.
landed well. That's what tons of scrutiny and tons of people that actually reviewed it. So
Yeah,
that-
I
that-
kind of
there's
tend to
some-
think like the game that like Zeitgeist should have some like should have weight, right?
I agree.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
when the
Like,
game
you can't just
blows up
ignore
and
it.
it's like it's in the public consciousness for
Yeah.
months.
Yep.
Those are those are your game. Like those are the games. Of the
Yeah,
year.
like-
those are the games that people
like,
play. Like
you know,
yo,
they-
like
they-
that's the game, you know. But
It's
They
funny you
say
should
that
say
you
that.
they just allow them to nominate whatever they want, right? Like it's like, hey, just pick whatever games you could think of in your heart for this category.
Well,
I
the-
think that's the most bullshit thing to do.
Well,
I
yeah,
think
but that is
they're-
kind of what it is, though, because you look at the jury, right? And so I think a lot of the people on the jury make sense, but I think there's also some like weird situation where it's like, okay, Jeff Gerstmann. I love Jeff Gerstmann. I think he's great.
Mhm.
The Jeff Gerstmann show is a jury member, right?
Right.
Based on the way that they lay it out in the description, it seems like there's no waiting, right? So Jeff Gerstmann by himself, because the whole show is just him. He doesn't have employees. It's one man. His vote for all of these categories theoretically would count the exact same amount as the entire staff of IGN. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like what's going on with that?
bullshit, bro.
How does that work?
No, I'm with you
Nah.
there. But
Yeah,
I
it's
wanted
just-
to
there's
touch
something that's
on
wrong.
but I
Go
wanted to touch on what C Money was saying there, and it goes in line with what we were saying too, Pixel, and that's that games that had such an impact and games that had such scrutiny and had so much put on them. Starfield had way more scrutiny, especially with Redfall coming short like it did. It had way more scrutiny than any other title this year by far. And for it still to kind of relatively stick that landing and land at 86, 85, whatever it may be, 83, whatever it is on whatever platform, Xbox and PC. 86 on PC, you said, Pixel?
Mhm.
So for it to still land there, I think that
Yep.
that says a lot about how good it still is. Same thing for me when it comes to Diablo. So Diablo is also a game I put a ton of time into, and a lot of people have still right now, because the new season is really solid. A lot of people are putting tons of hours into that game. Game landed at a what, 90? So
I don't play games like that, and I beat the hell out of that game.
yeah,
Like,
but it tells you the time investment and the like you said, when Pixel talk about the zeitgeist, and you talk about the social interactions, and then this is why I had an issue with one of the biggest snubs, and that's Hogwarts Legacy. But I'll get to
Yep.
that.
see, that's the one that would have took Spider-Man's place.
I could
You
see.
take Spider-Man out,
I
and
would
you put
personally
Hogwarts.
replace. I would personally replace Spider-Man with Hogwarts in a heartbeat. So, but I don't want to go to me yet.
Absolutely.
I do want to go to Danny next on this.
All right.
Danny, for you, Game of the Year, with these 6 here, what do you agree with? What don't you agree with? And what would you replace something with?
Agree with is a very different conversation than
Yeah.
like am I surprised by any of this? Because like, would this be my list? No.
Right.
Like I wouldn't put Mario on there. I didn't like it.
Mhm.
Right. Baldur's Gate I also probably wouldn't put on there, because to be fair, I've only just started it recently, but like I think some of y'all were really overhyping this shit. Like it is just a game. Like it's really not anything special. Like I don't know. Like you guys were talking earlier about like, oh man, the animations are so great, and it's like, yeah, maybe the facial animations. Everything else is just like, I don't know, stock.
Yeah, it's
Which one?
the
Baldur's Gate.
narrative and the way the game is what you can do in the game in a
Yeah.
role as a role playing.
Well,
It's
so the
very
way that
pure, and that's
correct me
great.
if
But
I'm
yeah,
wrong
it's not
here,
like oh my god. Yeah.
but the way that I understand Baldur's Gate, at least from the hour that I've played, again, very barely anything, is like it's kind of just a different mentality of Starfield, where Starfield is like 1,000,000 miles wide and like 1 mile deep, whereas Baldur's Gate is like 1 mile wide and 1,000,000 miles deep. You know what
I
I
think
mean?
Starfield's a couple of miles deeper than that, but
It's-
yes,
well, but you know what I mean.
Conceptually, yes.
Pause.
Yeah.
Where your pause at in there? Is
Fair.
And
Yeah,
so
pause.
like that's kind of the difference is they're like, we want you to be able to do everything anywhere, and Baldur's Gate was like, we want you to do anything right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Exactly.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And so I think those are just two very different mentalities, and I guess that just comes down to personal taste of which one you prefer. And I love Dungeons and Dragons, but so far I'm just like not vibing with the game. But again, 60 minutes, you know what I mean? So I probably wouldn't put Baldur's Gate in there just because right now it's not vibing with me. Also, something that I've been noticing lately that's been kind of annoying me is just that. So I listen to like all the podcasts. I work in a warehouse 8 hours a day. I'm listening to podcasts the whole time. So I listen to pretty much all the podcasts for the major shows. I listen to IGN and Kind of Funny and all of them. Pretty much anyone who speaks English and is one of the jury members, I listen to their podcast. The vast majority of the ones that have been talking about Baldur's Gate are like, it's one of the best games ever. I love it so much. I just finished Act 1, and I'm like, wait, what?
Exactly.
I'm like, you just finished. You're telling me it's the best game of all the time, and you're like a third of the way through it, and the game came out at the beginning of the year.
Hell, the game was
Like,
out since 2020 actually, but I
Yeah,
guess
like
the
so.
final chapters wasn't, I guess, though. to
So
be fair.
I'm just getting this weird, like, disparaging thing where it's like, or not disparaging, but disparate, like, thing where it's like, you're telling me it's the best game of all time, but you're also telling me that you haven't put the time in to finish it, and it's like, so do you like it or do you not like it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I have a friend, one of my friends, and I'm not gonna call him out because he's literally one of my best friends, but he's played both and he loves Baldur's Gate and he doesn't really like Starfield.
Right.
But he played Starfield through all 10 to get like the final armor, right, that you get for like the loops or whatever. He did that, and he just started Act 2 of Baldur's Gate, and he's like, Baldur's Gate is like GOAT game of all time, and I'm like, you put like 400 hours into Starfield. Why did you do that if you didn't like it? He's, I just wanted the armor. I was like,
I just wanted the armor.
That's weird.
That's messed
it's like,
up.
why are you doing this? So I look at this Game of the Year list anyway to get back on track. The only one here that surprises me is Resident Evil. I didn't think that people would put that in the Game of the Year conversation because it is a remake. If this was my personal list of my favorite games of the year, which doesn't matter at all, it would be on my list because I love that game. I think it's phenomenal.
Right.
So like, do I agree with it? I guess, but would I have done it? Like, no, I don't know. It's one of those weird things. But this list, I'm not surprised by at all.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it is one of those things where there's other categories I think are much worse, and we'll get to those, like best ongoing, best community. I think those are terrible.
I'll let you guys,
those
by the
are
way,
a
speaking
hot
of that,
mess.
I'll let you guys pick a nominee list and we'll move right to that after this.
I think those two are much more of a mess, but because I look at the Game of the Year category and I'm like, I'm thinking about the ones that were snubbed, and it's like, I'm disappointed but not surprised that Starfield isn't there, because there were a lot of people I remember who just like didn't vibe with it, right? So I'm not surprised to not see it there, because when we're talking about
Who said they didn't vibe with it? Just to be clear.
Yeah,
because they
well,
put
but
200 hours in the game, and then they said they didn't vibe with it. Those two
well, yeah,
things
but they're
don't
the
go
same
together.
ones. They're the same.
Oxymoron.
They're the same ones who reviewed it are the ones who vote for the Game Awards. So like, you kind of have to take those hand in hand. Sometimes,
Yeah,
even
it's
though,
not, look, it's
other
not
times they don't line up.
unexpected, even if.
No, yeah,
you
I am
know,
disappointed.
it's
I'm just not
showing up
surprised
places
by
that
it.
you would expect, but yeah, it wasn't surprising. It's just okay, confirmation.
But yeah, so it's
You
like,
know?
It's expected, not accepted, right? Expected, not
Sure.
accepted.
But it is this situation, like, it's one of those things where like this year was so stacked for games that, because this is another thing that's like part of this conversation is like, is it this big widespread conspiracy, which I think is a different conversation than is the Xbox tax real? Because I do think the Xbox tax is real, but what I don't think is that it's this big conspiracy.
Okay.
Because I find it really hard to believe that all of these different publications from all across the world are all together being like, well, fuck you, Xbox. Like, there's definitely
Here's how
some
tax works, though. Here's how
biases
tax
in there.
works. You don't need you
No,
don't
no.
need a group to agree on the same thing. You just need to hire the same type of asshole every time. I mean, it's not complicated. If I get old people who only like, if I only like a certain thing and I only hire people that like a certain thing, then they're gonna do. We'll all vote the same way. 'cause
Sure,
we
but
only
like
a
not
certain
every
thing.
publication is going to agree on what the same person to
Really,
hire
but we
is.
kind of
right?
get the same similar type of games every time, like these lists, right?
true.
It's story-driven bullshit like for the most part, unless it's
Yeah,
Nintendo.
that's
And
what the
then
industry
you
responds
get
to.
whatever.
Because
right,
they-
but that's
usually
not what-
because they
that's
can
what
get through
gamers
really
respond
fast.
to, right? Because the biggest games that are played are multiplayer games.
Yeah,
Right?
and multiplayer
So
games are almost never nominated for Game of the Year.
But
True.
where are those people
True.
in your voting?
Exactly.
If those are the most successful games ever, forever, where are they? Where are those people represented in your reporting?
They're
Yeah.
playing games. They're not
Well, and I
being
do
fake.
think-
Hire them.
I do
Right?
think that is kind of a different conversation, though, of like, are we targeting Xbox as like a thing to bury?
No,
Yeah.
Because like I agree with you on that front. Like there are certain genres that just never show up in Game of the Year,
So
and
true.
it's really disappointing.
Yep.
Like Forza was the highest rated Game of the Year, and everyone was really
Yep.
mad that that didn't get nominated. And I think I was also pretty mad about that because it didn't make sense, and it was a pretty empty year that year, if I remember.
It was, and that's a good point you made right there, because there are some games that just they don't
Yeah,
allow.
They just don't show up. It's
Yep.
like certain genres, like people just
but
don't care about it all.
You'll get Stray.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
like, sure.
please don't
They-
remind me.
That's not true.
Please
They
don't
always like to
remind me
throw
about that.
Or
in-
a Vampire Survivor, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that-
well, they
I
always
said
like to
that on
throw in
Food
like an
Show
indie
yesterday.
darling, and I guess this year that's technically Baldur's Gate.
But hold up. The last year, the indie darling was Vampire Survivor.
Yeah,
It's undeniable. That dude, he made numbers for that game.
Pixel. I would also argue maybe even Sifu. I would argue
was
even
Sifu nominated?
Sifu
Cody?
had his time too.
no,
last
it
year,
wasn't.
too,
But Sifu
Oh, okay.
could have been one that, in my opinion, that could have replaced Stray. Stray was just people make Stray out. It's much like when I see them kind of doing the Baldur's Gate thing you're talking about, Danny. It's like they made Stray out to be this. Oh, because it was a cute cat.
Right.
That game was
I mean,
average.
you say that, but it is getting a movie.
Sony,
so
man.
It's getting a movie
That's
too.
all.
they're making a Stray movie. That's not a joke. That is happening. We talked
Let's-
about it on the podcast. But it
We
was like,
did. I forgot. You know what? I forgot about that. We
wild.
sure did. But you know
yeah,
what?
It's really dumb.
Listen, I didn't hate the game. It was good. It was a decent game, right? It's a good game, but
It
not.
was no game of the year.
It
bro.
wasn't game
Not
of the
even
year.
close, bro.
No.
Like
Not even close.
worthy
Not
of
even.
being put into that category.
But it was in there,
That's-
right?
that's so
It
So-
shouldn't have game of anything.
I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe indie. I don't know. Maybe put it in there. But
Sorry, but
damn
just
sure
to,
not game of the year.
because I don't want to get too far off track, but just like the point I was trying to make earlier at the root of it was just like I think that all it takes to get something not nominated, especially for Game of the Year, is for just like a handful of the publications to not vote for it. And so it doesn't need to be a widespread thing for something to get snubbed. It can be just like 3 or 4 publications.
True.
And so when I look at some of the
There's
games that are snubbed,
120.
yeah,
No way that math works out. They have to take it based
I think
off
the
of that.
vast
So they
majority of
have to
people
be-
would probably stick Spider-Man, Legend, Zelda, and Alan Wake in all of these
I
conversations.
agree with that. I think they would.
Like I think that those are, and probably Baldur's Gate because it's like a
So-
darling.
So, but let me fix that. The people who are not Xbox heads, absolutely.
that's the problem.
absolutely.
That's the
But
problem,
every
though. See,
real
most of
Xbox
them
head-
aren't.
But
Most of them aren't Xbox
Yeah,
heads. That's the
every real
point.
Xbox head is putting Starfield in the list. That's
sure, but
why
I'm not even
this
talking
list
about
is
specifically the Xbox thing, right? I'm talking about just games that like didn't get there, right? So for
which is Starfield.
sure, no, well, but there I would say there's like 6 other
That's a
games
few
that
others.
I could have
Yeah.
seen being in Game of the Year
Armor
that didn't
Core
make it,
6,
right?
You would see
Hogwarts
them
Legacy,
big,
Star Wars
bigger-
Jedi Survivor. There are a bunch.
No,
You're
like,
saying
to be
bigger
Diablo
and
clear-
better than
4.
Starfield.
No, look, to be clear, like I would have Starfield in my list. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that like some of these other games had like other negative things attached to them where it's like only a couple of publications had to agree on that to pull that number down further than these other ones that got nominated,
Yep.
right? So
So
like
Starfield
Diablo was a really great
negative thing
game, but it
better
had
than
that
Xbox,
rough
right?
first season, right? So that first season was like really negative. So some people are going to look at that and just be like, well, yeah, like it was really good, but it had this negative. And like, if you have that point, then you can go for it. Right. And I think there's a lot of that going on with that. I think you've got that going on probably with Jedi Survivor because it launched in a pretty rough state.
Yeah.
I think you've got that going on with, shit. What was the other one?
Was Jedi in a worse? Well, was Jedi in a worse state than Spider-Man was?
That's
Jedi's
debatable,
might
but the
still
people
be
who
in a pretty
voted
bad
it,
state.
Jedi was
I
technically
was-
in a worse
I'm
state.
trying.
Just to say, Jedi was technically in a worse state because it took about 6 different
but you also have to keep in mind that,
revisions to
that the
get it
people who are
right.
voting on this maintain that Marvel Spider-Man wasn't broken when they played it, which like
I
is
maintain
crazy,
that's
but like
bullshit.
whatever.
Yeah.
Which is also
That's bullshit.
Um,
but okay.
I will say ACG,
Yeah.
I trust him. He said he didn't have it until the 0-day
Yeah.
patch. So
ACG
also-
said he had like 3 crashes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Paris
You
came
can't
in on
say he didn't
Xbox
have
Factor and
anything.
said
He
it
had
too.
3
So like I
full-on
believe that.
crashes.
did he say he had the crashes before the patch or after?
Paris said the same thing. Paris said the same thing. He had like 3 crashes. He had
Yeah.
some things.
Yeah.
The game had bugs, but
But I'm,
nobody
sa-
talked
but I'm
about
saying, was it
regardless.
before the patch or after? When he talking about that?
No, before the patch,
Before the
during
patch.
the original
Before the
gameplay,
patch.
they had a few
Crashes.
crashes.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
they didn't think anything of it because they just restarted and moved on.
I see.
Yeah, but
I
that's the
had
thing, right? So-
I had
Making a
5
big deal.
crashes on Spider-Man 2. I didn't have any of like the weird spider cube thing happen to me, but
Yeah, but I'd rather a crash is a major thing, right? That's not like
it's
your
not something that
game
should be
blew up,
ignored. Yeah.
right? That's not something you
For
should
sure,
just
yeah.
ignore. Like there's certain games that you turned on. I think what was it, NFL 2K, when in 2020 when the consoles first came out, and that game was like bringing systems to the floor,
Mhm.
right? I think it was NFL 2K that was blowing consoles up or something like that at some point.
Yeah.
People weren't ignoring that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crashing your system,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
So
Or Returnal was
it's
heavy with that.
comical when
Yeah.
we decide, right, this game, it's okay. It crashed me
exactly. It's
all the way back
excuses.
to the dashboard, but no big deal. I'm going to ignore that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to count that my score. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that's like when people say
don't-
they don't
and
want they hate remakes, right? Oh my god, we hate remakes until they find out the game that they would want to be remade
Is
is fucking being
remade.
remade. They're like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this
Well,
is
And
amazing.
it's all
right?
good. And it's
It's
all
just
good.
biased
yeah,
bullshit.
so-
But before
I think
that,
the
before we
biggest
go too
problem-
far with it, I do want to let Danny get to, because we got to get to the other subjects too. But Danny I want to let you finish up on this really quick. What you were saying.
That was basically the bulk of it. It's just I agree that there is an Xbox tax. I think that there's definitely people who hold games accountable for like previous actions of Microsoft or some shit. Like I don't know what it is. Like we heard, like there's that
It's
video
just
that's
their
been going
bias,
around
bro.
of Major Nelson. Well, there's always bias. We can't get anything away from that.
Yeah.
but not from but that's
well,
not
the
supposed
problem
to be
is
the media. You know what I'm saying?
well, okay, but the problem is that video games, like movies, like music, is art, and so there isn't an objective way to grade it, and so people are going to already have their different takes, and they're not necessarily going to be able to separate that from like what team they root for, which is shitty, but like that's just the reality of the situation. Is some people don't
But
see
there,
that
but there
difference.
is a way to
right?
stop it, right? Because
sure,
you
but-
can
Hire
make
better.
sure you hire people.
Yeah, hire better.
You
That's
But
what
have
usually you won't know
another
that that's the
bias.
case until you've already hired them. But here's
Yeah.
this
No,
other
not in
come
gaming.
on.
Not absolutely
Well,
not. Let me see
hold,
your
hold
gamer
on, guys.
tag.
Hold on, guys.
You got-
It's over
well,
chat.
but here's
I want to make sure I can hear you all because everybody's talking at once.
yeah.
But,
Well,
but
'cause-
this is my thing I'll say on that.
Yeah.
I agree with how Danny is saying it, and he's not saying that thing doesn't exist. And you were
No,
highlighting
it
you were
very much does.
highlighting
Like, we
the
saw
Major Nelson thing,
say,
right?
Yeah.
So he did point to that. He did allude to the Xbox tax. If you all didn't,
It does
see
exist, and they know that it exists, which probably also means, if I had to guess, like if he's saying we knew about it, and that was like back, what was that, like 2019, 2015, like it was a
Yeah.
while ago. Greg's beard was still like fully dark.
that, yeah.
So it was a while ago for sure. So if they
It makes
knew,
it dark too.
yeah.
Mhm.
So if they
They've
like know
always
that
been.
that's a thing, theoretically, you would at least hope that they know that going into things. So they're not probably holding their employees, their studios to, like, I would be surprised if I found out that in today's day and age that Microsoft was still like holding people's bonuses behind what the Metacritic was or like how many awards it made.
Yeah.
Because clearly, like,
probably
they
not.
know that this is a real thing, and they
Yeah.
know that they're
I
going to
don't
be
think they
affected
do.
by it.
Yeah.
Right. So I would be shocked to hear that that was a thing. And so I don't necessarily think that this affects them in the way that, because some people are like, oh, well, it didn't win these awards, so like they're getting destroyed. And it's like, I don't necessarily think that's true, especially for
Yeah.
Microsoft, right?
Definitely not. Definitely
It's
not.
still for the
Yeah, that's a good
developers'
point.
recognition.
Yeah, like
they
it's a-
still want it. They still
They
want
would
that
for sure
recognition.
want it, but
Mhm.
just like no one's losing money on it. Like
Right,
no one's
right.
having a harder life because of it.
I mean,
Which
but-
is
well,
which has
this
not
is
always
the
been the
thing I would-
case, right? Because
I
like that
would
happened
argue-
for, was it New Vegas?
It was
Like,
some
they had
games
a
that
bunch
were
of-
penalized for it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to also take into consideration that is not just the bonus; it's prestige, right?
Mhm.
So if you're the director of that game and you making game of the year
Caliber
contenders,
games.
right? Like
Yeah.
that elevates you,
It
right?
does,
Like that
yeah.
elevates your presence,
Your
so,
team and
yeah,
everybody.
it does equal money because
Yeah.
you can go and make more money somewhere else
That's true.
because now they know you as the guy who can make those things happen,
It's a
right?
fair
Yeah.
point.
So there is
Well-
ramifications for everything. And then let me just say this one point because I think this is important, and I just because I want to make this clear because I'm sure you've watched some of my stuff or you've heard lately, but we have a pretty vocal crowd
Yeah.
that shows up now, and I will say that as much as the conversation you're having now is fine to have, right? This is the problem that people have because essentially what you're doing, and again, it's nothing against you personally because this is how you feel, but what you're doing is saying that we need to just accept that that's what it is, right? Like we should not
No,
bitch
that's
or
not what I'm
moan
trying to
about it
say.
because no, I'm not saying that's what you're trying to say, but when you're when you're spending the time to explain to us why this has happened and we should just kind of be like, yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. That's why these issues are becoming so prominent on our end, where like, you know, where the Xbox dudes who are really into this are getting really fed up, because it's like you got people like Paris trying to, you know, no problem with Paris or whatever, but the fact is trying to let us feel like we're just supposed to be accepting of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm bringing them up again because I really didn't know
He's
this
trying
dude
to
like that,
summon
but you know, New
Listen.
Legal, he had that podcast and he brought it up and it's like, yo, that's like, it's like if Rosa Parks didn't sit up front in the bus, just sit in the back, because that's
I
what
know
you're
your ass
supposed
to
say.
just go to civil rights on us with
No,
this.
he said that. He said that. Legal. He said that. But it's true.
Hold
It's
on,
like,
let me
yo,
reel this
Xbox
back.
dude, shut
Let
up,
me-
stay in the back.
Yeah.
bro.
Hold on, let me reel
Stay
this
in the
back a little bit now.
PlayStation
guess-
head, we get the
Wait a
front of the
minute.
bus. You need to stay quiet and stay in the
Oh.
back because you
Yeah.
Xbox. Like, that's crazy.
Listen. I hear
It's a
you.
crazy
I hear you,
idea.
see, but I want to reel it back just a little bit. I don't want to go too
Hey, listen,
too
go tell
far.
Legal. All right, he brought it up. I heard it.
Shout
Yeah.
out to
Repeat
shout
what he
out
said.
shout out to New Legal, but I want to reel it back. I don't want us to get too far into that territory.
Yeah,
Where
I
we're
mean,
like,
But you understand
well,
the
civil
relation,
rights
right?
and-
You're taking the example is extreme, right?
It
But
is
the thought
extreme,
is
yeah.
not. Right? The example is extreme, right? But the thought is not. The thought
I just
is
found it
that
hilarious.
They're
This,
choosing
yeah,
they're choosing to say that, listen, yes, most of the media is leaning they prefer PlayStation.
Uh-huh.
So tough shit, Xbox, you're not going to get
I don't think
because we
that's
do
what
know
Paris
for
was
a
saying
fact-
though. To be fair, I don't want to
that's not
misrepresent.
what I
him.
was saying.
Yeah,
But
and I know that's
there
what
have
not.
been other people who are saying
Yeah.
shit like, oh, you know, Xbox needs to do, you know, be over 100%.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Right? Like, you say something stupid like
Yeah.
that to me, it's like, listen,
Yeah,
I've heard that talk before, right?
Yep.
We've heard that
we have.
kind of talk.
I've
in
seen it.
Faces.
Yep.
And you sound crazy when you say something like that.
I agree
There's no
with you.
such thing as more than 100%. They shouldn't have to do 100%
More than anybody else
of
does
and I
to
agree.
to
or
get
be
the love.
recognized for what they do.
I
So
100% agree.
I dig people going that route, but don't, because you're gonna sound like a fool doing it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
All
just like we understand that people have their preferences and all that, and this was why I'm saying then hire better, right? Because
Yeah,
if
facts.
you have scenarios where you can't find nobody who actually likes a platform,
Yeah.
then you shouldn't be reporting on that platform.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But that's the
'cause-
problem is that a lot of them
100%,
don't.
dude. 100%.
Right.
But
That's
right,
the
but-
exact
yeah.
problem. Is so they're
Go
not
ahead, Danny. I
reporting
want you
it.
to
They
finish
didn't hire
this and
people
I'll
who
move
who
on.
were covering it, and so like that's why we're seeing, like, I mean, you mentioned it earlier. Most games, if they're multi-plat, they're being reviewed on PlayStation,
Mhm.
right? And so
Yep.
I think that's also part of the problem. Is it's not even necessarily that people just like hate Xbox. It's that, like, if they're working
Nobody
at a
played it.
company and that company and that, yeah, nobody played it, was part of it. It's like the people who are doing these reviews, probably a lot of them didn't, because we can see that directly from Metacritic. Is there are less reviews for this than
and
there
we
are
can
for
see
something
that
like
because people were
Spider-Man.
crying over encumbrance, and
And
then
so,
there's
like,
like
Yeah,
skills
which
in
is
the
I
game
never understood
for
that
that,
personally.
which was
Yeah, like,
Jesus
it doesn't make
Christ,
any sense.
right,
Like, that's
so-
part of the game. Like, it's crazy. But
well,
just the very conversation of it is the thing, because it's like, yes, we know all those things to be true, but right, like what the issue that we're having is that the but is where it shouldn't be. There should be no but, because the only conversation that's worth having is, how do they think that this is going to be okay to do? Who gave them the balls to wake up today and say, you know what, we don't give a shit about Xbox or whatever they got going on. Most of our staff is PlayStation focused, and that's the way we like it, and that's where we're going to keep it.
But see,
That's
this
the
is why I
bullshit.
say
If
this is
we don't-
why I was saying I agree with how Danny was presenting it. It's not so much that it's a conscious thing; it's an unconscious bias. It's not like they're like, we're going to screw over Xbox. No, a lot of them. Hold on one second. Let me finish this. Let me finish this real quick. Hold on, guys. Let me finish this really quick. I'm saying this to say I'm not saying at all. I'm sure there are some. Like, you look at the Jimquisition guy. That's purposeful, right? That's purposeful hate directed at Hogwarts or
where's that on the
Diablo
sleeve,
or
so?
something like right. But I'm talking about most of these people. They just have an unconscious bias, I think, and I think because of that, and a lot of people had a real anti-Xbox Microsoft thing going for them. And I think over time that festers, and you don't really notice that you're doing that thing, and you're kind of attuned to be more positive.
But when you're saying
hold on. One second. See,
why?
hold on 1 second.
Go ahead.
I think they are more attuned to being positive to PlayStation and Nintendo, and more anti Xbox. I think that's the problem, and I don't think they see
but
it.
what response when you say this, right? When you're saying this right now and you're explaining it, right, as to how it's unconscious, what response do you expect to have, or should we have from Xbox
fans,
players,
as consoles? I mean, as consumers.
If you're talking to me right now and you're explaining to me what response are we supposed to have? Are you asking us to say, "Oh, I get it,
we agree and co-sign it"?
Tough shit. Like, what is it that you think is coming from that conversation?
I think that
all you're telling me
all the thing we
is
can
that
do
it's
reasonably.
okay. We have to accept it.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
you're saying, what would I do? What should we do? Well, what we can do a few things. We can not support them. We can choose not to support their publications. We can choose not to watch the VGAs. We got a lot of different options. Hell, we can choose to do
also not excuse them.
Hold on, but we can do our own thing. Some people might agree with them, so I can't write off everybody. I feel the way I feel. I feel close to what you feel.
Plenty of people who agree with them.
I'm just saying, right?
That's the problem.
I can't say, hey, your thought is wrong. Your opinion is wrong, right? I can only say that I know.
You can though.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
No, you can't. See,
Yes,
you can't. No, you can't. See, time out. Time out.
You
You cannot, brother, because it's all opinion based. It's all subjective.
Right.
Yes,
There's
but
no. They're
opinions of
technically.
Xbox fans are different than opinions of PlayStation.
No,
fans.
see, but
And
I'm saying
opinions that
it's
are being
overall.
shown.
I'm not talking about versus a platform. I'm saying opinion based. So some people might.
but
I've seen some Xbox gamers
in
who.
relation to this.
I'm saying though, but I've seen Xbox gamers who are tried and true Xbox gamers who felt the same way about Diablo or for Starfield that some of our Hoove brothers may have felt. That they don't make them less of an Xbox guy. And I think, by the way, I want to throw it out
I'm not
there.
saying all of them.
I know. I'm just saying that I think we have to get out of that where we start, oh, I'm going to draw the line. You are this thing over there and you're not one of us. We got to stop that because I've seen us do that before. And as a community, I don't want us to get into that nonsense. What I'm saying is that as on a greater conversation, as far as opinion based go, I can't outlaw somebody else's opinion on something if they have a sound reasoning for why they feel the way they feel. I'm saying with these guys and the reviewers and the positions they're in, if you're asking me what can we do about that, don't support them. If you don't like what they're talking about, you don't buy the stuff they're selling, the brand they're selling, don't give them your time. I don't like Kotaku. I don't quote them. I don't say anything about them on my tweets. I don't give them any of my time, period, because I don't trust them. I don't believe them. I know that they're on bull most of the time. IGN, I don't repost a lot of their stuff unless it's very relevant. But a lot of the stuff when they kept doing it, oh, we gave Starfield a 7. I didn't highlight that once because I knew what they were doing. You see what I mean? So that's what I mean. Like, we have to stop feeding into that. And that's why the whole Xbox tax thing came up and people were making fun of us. It's like, yeah, we can feel how we feel. We could definitely highlight in a better way, I believe, that there is a certain media bias, but not to the point where we make ourselves look like fools. That's what I mean. We have to be cognizant of
we
that.
don't have to. We don't have to.
I get what you're
they
saying.
can highlight and complain and say that, oh, that's not something that exists. A lot of people say that shit.
Yeah, they do.
If you're down with that crew, it don't exist for you. That's fine.
That's
But
true.
I feel like a fool because you don't agree. Get out of here.
It's
You know what I'm saying?
about how you do it, though. It's Pixel,
Yeah,
right? It's about how you do what you do. That's the problem.
I don't think we should to be a point where we don't point stuff out.
No,
right?
I'm with you
Like,
there.
yeah,
and
I'm
we
not gonna
talked
support
about
them.
this Tuesday, and I said,
But
there is nothing
you
wrong
know.
with calling out a lack of integrity. There's nothing wrong with calling out something that's wrong. I think how you do what you do is more important. I can say, hey, I feel that this is his thing.
Appeases certain groups of people.
No, I don't
right?
do.
That's what
See,
you're
but I don't
saying,
do
right?
it.
Like,
No, that's not what I'm
how it
saying.
looks.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I do this for me. I do it because this is how I want to represent myself. I'm not going to go out there and be like, oh, that damn them, they are this. I'm not doing all of that because that's not how I am. So I'm going to be respectful to me and how I present myself. I'm never going to diminish me to try to make a point. I'm going to say what I have to say. That's what I'm saying. So you can still say it. Just do it in a way that you don't embarrass yourself. And some of us have been embarrassing ourselves out here. And I say us because I'm an Xbox guy.
It's all perspective.
It is.
Right?
It's
Like, it's all
perspective.
perspective
It
on-
is perspective
on
at the
who-
end of the day. But I think
like,
just be
embarrassment
reasonable. I
comes
think
from
that's all I'm
inside.
saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it can
you-
come from
like,
outside
if
too.
you
I've seen
feel
some from the
embarrassed-
outside of me who I thought like did too much. I think you can again.
No, but what I'm saying is that if you feel embarrassed for somebody else,
you
like
can feel
if that
embarrassed
person
for,
doesn't feel embarrassed.
Well, they don't
you know
have
what I'm
to.
saying? Like, yeah, exactly.
I've seen our Hoove brothers
person
say some
doesn't
nonsense where I felt embarrassed for them. They didn't feel embarrassed, but these Hoove brothers were still saying the dumbest shit. I'm just saying that there are things where people can say something. I don't have to agree with them how they're saying it, but I can agree with their overall view. You see what I'm saying? I agree with you. I agree with Pixel. I agree with Danny. We all know that thing exists. I'm just saying how you word what you say is more important than necessarily just being like, oh, these guys are liars. These guys are that. That's all I'm saying.
There's an aspect of this that I kind of want to touch on. Is it's like I don't think that acknowledging the root of where this problem is coming from is like a soft way to look at it. You need to have some level of understanding of where these problems are coming from, or there's no way to solve it. If you run into these problems with these people who have like a different opinion than you and are potentially very biased, even subconsciously, even maybe consciously, you're not going to be able to reach any level of common ground with them by coming up to them and like yelling at them. Like that's never going to be a conversation where an agreement is met at any point, right? That's just going to be two people yelling at each other, probably on social media, right? If you want to actually talk to maybe affect the way these things are done, then you have to understand where it's coming from, be like, hey, but have you considered this? And then like go about it in like a more rational way, because there's a lot of people who are on Twitter losing their shit.
Agree with them. I'm not. But
I gotta tell you that I don't think that makes any sense, my dude. Like, I don't think you can say,
well,
let's
go and find a
PlayStation
guy and yell at him and tell me if his mind changes.
Let's hit up Dan Stapleton and be like, yo, Dan, listen, I respect what you feel, but don't you think that maybe it's time to, have Xbox get a shot? No, go fuck yourself. Oh, okay, cool, Dan. Thanks, man.
I'm back with the anger. Because that's him doing it.
Fuck out of here, bro.
He wouldn't do that. He didn't do that.
No,
that would be him coming back at you with exactly the same thing I'm telling you to not do.
You a nut.
See,
you a nut.
He
said New York shit right there.
Yeah, but listen, this is
he didn't do that.
If you walk up to somebody
in there, everybody's been chill. Look at Phil. Look at Phil.
I'm imagining somebody doing that. I know somebody would do that on Twitter. That's the funniest part, because some would do that.
If you walk up to somebody and you're like, hey, have you considered, and they whip out a gun on you, then that's not a conversation that's going to work out either.
But my dude,
both people need to do this.
We're not walking down the streets of I don't know, New Brunswick, Idaho, or some shit. This is like real shit that's happening for these people. Like they're
got me over here tearing up.
It's not. The other part of this is it's just like not that serious. You know what I mean? We're talking about an award show that people don't even respect. Like this isn't even.
You spend most of your time doing this type of hobby. Like maybe not you personally, right? Like I do.
No,
right? Like
all of us do. All of us do.
I would say this. I would say the same thing where I want you to try to take that same mentality. Go to the Giant Stadium.
Yeah.
Okay. Go walk up to the tailgaters who spend their whole lives every week doing this shit, and then tell them, why do you give a shit about the Giants? You should be cheering on the other fucking team, or go have a rational conversation with
the
them.
Mets.
Like that's not how it works. They don't care.
But those are not the same situations, right? You're talking about
this is a sports team.
No, it's not. You're talking about rooting on a team where like there is no amount of like bias that's going to change whether or not the Chiefs beat the Giants, right? The announcers can be like, oh man, they really suck, I hate them, but like if they still win, they still win, right?
Yeah, but
there's like we're on the losing team forever.
You know what I mean?
Because it's not like no matter how good our team is, no matter how many touchdowns they score, at the end of the game they still put the board with the other team with more points. No matter how many times we score the ball, the game is fixed, and that's the frustration. And I'm sorry, I don't believe.
And I understand the frustration of that. I really do.
Be like, accept it.
See,
you know what I'm saying?
So I want to say this so we can move on to the next thing, because we're running over now. But it's funny you said the fix. By the way, to shout out to the fix.
Yeah, I got you.
We brought it back around full circle. Hey, anybody in the chat, anybody that's here with us lurking or whatever it may be, thank you all for being here. If you could please hit the like button and subscribe. We appreciate you for being here. I do want to say this, as far as I understand 100% where everybody is coming from. I'm one of the more entrenched bots, right? However, I just refuse to play into that. Let me make outrageous statements and be all mad. I'm just not going to give them that energy because I just don't want to give it. I have no. I don't have that in me to do, and I feel like there's better ways to go about doing it. And Danny is right on one thing. You go up to somebody and you're yelling, saying this. You're not going to get anything out. There's nothing to get out of that except anger and an argument. That's just all this way it is going to be. However,
well, to be clear,
I think there is
going up to anybody to do it.
Well,
right?
on Twitter,
They're
I'm
not
saying
going up to them. They're doing it on social
I'm
media.
just saying socially.
We're doing it over here, and they're mad. That's a personal problem.
But what I'm
like,
saying is, if you're going on social media, like you just said, hilariously with Dan Stapleton, and he say, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, if he comes back to you, the fuck you, then like, all right, wheels off.
Yeah,
dude. Like you
go
can
at
back
him.
at a guy.
Absolutely.
I don't have a problem with that.
But I'm saying in general, like you're not going to get anything out of that. Typically, Dan, I don't think, to Dan's credit, I don't think he's that bad. I've seen him responding, and he took his time and was respectful to people, even when people who were taking a dump on him. I saw it. So, but it was a point where he started saying some stuff when people were being aggressive to him too. But I don't think initially, if you go to him, but I know you were joking on that. But my thing is to say is that we have to be cognizant of who we give our strength and power to. If it's somebody who a site or whatever, like I said, Kotaku is a prime example. I'm just refusing to give them any of my clicks, my ear.
100%.
They're not getting any ear from me. Hold on, before you do though, I want to just say this.
Okay.
On that whole topic, when it comes to not giving people your time and things like that too, I have no problem with holding people accountable and having scrutiny for what we feel is a lack of integrity. That's why we get upset. And that's why I know where you're coming from, and that's why I know Pixel is coming from, myself, Danny, all of us, even those in the chat. It's not that we like Xbox needs to get this because we love Xbox. It's what we see as a lack of integrity that irks us more. So I understand. Trust me. I'm just saying that
it's the lack of integrity and the acceptance of it. It's two. It's not just the lack of the integrity.
I can get that. I don't think it's necessarily the acceptance.
Doing or accepting it.
Yeah.
So let me real quick. Let me just say this, right?
Yeah.
Because again, I recently I have been into this pretty big. And I will tell you that I have gotten so many messages on Twitter in my DMs.
Negative or positive?
Positive. Okay. From people that just happen to see me or whatever on there, who are so thankful that somebody said what they all want to say, but nobody will say it, right? And the fact of the matter is that for too long, it's just accept what is said and keep it moving. Oh, we have to kind of deal with it. That's it. No, we don't. We can choose to speak out. We can choose to say things. We can choose to put our voice out there and to let people feel like, hey, we feel the same way, right? And we're tired of hearing the same shit. Like, I don't take this lightly. This is the thing I invest outside of my family. I invest all my money into gaming and all my free time into gaming. Yeah, sure, it's just gaming to people who don't give a shit about gaming. But I could say the same thing about wrestling. It's just a fake ass thing that's made up. But
you watch your tone.
Watch it. You exactly right. You love it. You don't want to hear that shit, right? Like that shit. You don't want to hear that you guys are thinking about storylines that are completely fabricated and made up just to appease you guys, right? But that's what is real. But that's not what we want to think about, right? Because that's bullshit. You love this shit, so you don't want to hear that side of it. You want to hear that you can think about the storylines as if this shit is real. Yeah. Right? You want to talk about this shit as if it's happening. Not like you're ignorant
fans
to
know
it.
it's not real. Like that's
exactly, but you want to indulge it, right? You want to indulge it, right?
Like
you
no one
want to
actually
have
thinks the
that fun
Undertaker's
time.
an undead wizard.
Listen,
but you get the idea of what I'm saying, right? Anybody can pick this thing that they give a shit about.
It's real to me, damn it.
It's real to me, damn it.
It was real to me. Listen, I was devastated when I found out wrestling was fake.
Wait, see,
ain't who he is. Are you kidding me?
Seeing how you just found out that Tatanka wasn't Native American and
exactly.
Yokozuna wasn't Japanese. When did you find out wrestling wasn't real? That's wrestling. When did you find that wasn't real? Like,
when I stopped watching it.
When was that? Like 2 years ago? Because your ass kind of behind.
Attitude era. I stopped when The Rock, Stone Cold, when they left, when it was all done. That's when I was.
That's when I stopped.
And then I found out. I never knew during the time I was actively watching it. To be clear,
no,
it was only
it's
after
so
I
funny.
stopped watching it.
I knew well before that. However, I stopped when you stopped. Exactly when the Attitude Era kind of ended. I was like,
yeah. That was it.
But
that was it. And
but
I was done.
I say all this and I hear your passion. That's what I like about you. See, that's why it's always fun to talk with you. Of course, I mean, me, you, Danny, always converse. I feel the passion, and I see that when I watch you and Doodle do your thing. But this is my thing about it, right? And we feel the same. I feel the same. I don't try to sugarcoat what I say. This is just how I am. I'm not gonna be like super over the top. I'm just a very mild mannered Umbra. That's just
nothing wrong with that.
That's all it is.
But I like to be like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah.
Whatever. Deal with it.
That's all it is.
Sounds
So,
crazy. Yeah, it is what it
and
is.
there are plenty in the community to shout out to everybody in the community. I love the Xbox community. But I think sometimes we go a bit above and beyond. And what I mean, that's why I say we have to be careful, because last year,
beyond your comfort level.
no, a bit above and beyond where anybody should be comfortable. What I mean by that is,
I feel like I'm still not even reaching that point. I'm ready to do more.
Well, this is what I mean. This is what I mean by that. When I say that because some of us start doing it to the point where we turn on each other, and it's like it's so uncalled for. Relax, feel the way you feel, but don't start outcasting people because they don't feel the exact way you feel. You got to feel exactly as I feel. If you don't shout them down, you're a pony bot. It's like, relax, brother. It's at the end of the day.
So much.
I just laugh at it, but I'm just saying, like, there has to be some level of reasonable discourse. Well, that's what I mean. Like, yeah, shout out to those who reached out to you. I love the community too. I know what you mean when you say they want to hear representation of how they feel. 100% agreed, and I do believe there are some people who soft shoe. I get it. However, when we're all talking on the same thing, but just because my wavelength thing isn't the exact same as yours, and then you like start turning on us, turning on the other, that's when it gets ridiculous. It's like, calm down. That's what I mean. Like, say what you have to say, but be reasonable.
I feel you.
Slowly
I think
turn.
Step
think
by
the
step. Yeah, shout out, Pixel.
I would say the one thing I would say that I think people feel, and again, just kind of hearing it, from the fans who reach out, I think one of the biggest things that people feel is like for the people who they would say half step the conversation, right? Where you say it, but then you also at the same time, and this is, I can't hear it any other way. It's you are saying that you know it, right? But at the same time saying that it's also something we kind of just have to accept because there's nothing we could do about it because that's the way that it is. I think that there is where the people who are more on the side of like, I want Xbox to get that respect and recognition. I think that that's where they're saying that at that point, what's even the point? Like, if you're going to take the step, but at the same time, kind of keep it, without going all the way into that step and kind of allowing it. And again, I can't hear it any other way where it's still kind of excusing it to some point, right? It's like,
let me say this to give you a counter to what you're saying right there. And I get you.
Okay.
However, let's say somebody like Paris, right? And this is how I look at it. And I think you all will possibly agree. Paris has to play that game. And you know what I mean by that? That role that he's in, and I'm not saying, because Paris, I think, is a genuine guy. I don't think Paris has minced words at all. I think some people give him a harder time than he deserves. What I mean by,
we also know that he has both incomes coming, right? He has.
Well, but when you say it like that, though, but when you say it like that, see, you're saying it like he's bought off, and I don't think that's the case for him. I think though. Hold on. Let me say this really quick. One second. I'm just saying I don't think that it could be an unconscious thing. To be fair to you, but I'm saying though, I don't. In that field that he's in, you can't go full out Xbot and be like, no, these other guys who voted this way, blah blah. You can't do that. None of us can do that.
If you're not worried about
no, see money. I'm saying in the field he's in, we can do this here. I can do this without any of that corporate nonsense. If you get in that corporate stuff where he's at, you absolutely cannot. Yeah, because they're going to kick him out. So that's what I'm saying. Like, but that's what. Hold on. I'm saying
how he says it would be the problem.
That's my point, though.
He can say that Xbox should be doing this.
Well, he does though. I've seen him say Xbox. This should have been this. Hi-Fi Rush should have gotten this. I've seen him do that. So my point is to say is it's only so far on the extremer side of what he says that he can go in that field where he's at and where he's at right now. That's why I say, yeah, we want representation, but we can't expect that anybody who's doing these things with corporate backing is going to
Especially since
fully
he is
embrace how
offering
we
us-
say what we say. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's obviously Paris is giving us some form of representation, right?
He
because
is.
he is going up there being a person of color, right? I'm Spanish,
And
you're
he's
black, we get
bigging
it.
up
Like,
Xbox most of the time.
Yeah.
That's why I say people give him a harder time than what he deserves, because Paris.
Yeah, I
it's
think
the confusion that
it
they
goes back
feel
to what you said
afterwards.
earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It kind of goes back to what you said earlier, Umbra, about you can't expect everybody to have the same response as you, right? Like while I'm all for a heated response and just calling bullshit as it is,
right.
If I see it, that's bullshit, right?
Right.
But you can't expect everybody to be like that, right? So like, you can't like. I never had a problem. I don't have a problem with Paris or anybody else. I mean, if that's your view of things, that's your view. And then you got to remember, these people work in the industry as well, right? So they know these people, right? So their viewpoint is your viewpoint is external, right? We're seeing everything from the outside in.
Yeah.
He's inside, so he knows these people. He's seeing things from the inside out.
Yep.
Right. So he's not going to react to these events the same way we would, because he has more insider knowledge related to it.
That's true.
I don't expect that, right? I don't need. I personally don't care or need for anybody to agree with my opinion, right? I don't. It doesn't matter to me like that. This is all comedy for me.
Yeah.
Right. But if I see something that looks goofy, I just call it goofy.
That's it. Call it out.
I'm not gonna spend the whole day doing it, but I'm gonna do it.
See,
you know what I'm saying?
and that's how I am,
That
Pixel.
on
That's
my
it.
day. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
But I don't need anybody else to do the same. I don't need. And if you say, "Hey, I don't think it's nice that you say goofy," okay, I'm gonna still do it.
Yeah,
but okay,
I respect
right?
you. I respect your thoughts,
Dude,
but I'm still doing what I'm doing to
I'm
do.
gonna do what I do. But I got no
Absolutely.
problem with you feeling differently, because that's you, and that's good for you, and I'm good with that. So yeah, I see money like you gotta chill, bro. Like it's all good as far as I'm concerned. But when cats need smoke, give them the smoke, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But if cats have different opinions on the same, we in agreement, but the opinion is different, right? Like even here, people feel like it's not. There is an agenda. It's not all that. It's this and that, right? But it's more complicated than that, right? You're free to have your opinion, and that's fine, as long as everybody else is free to have theirs.
That's
So,
right.
I'm good with it.
That's a
Everybody
fair
can
point.
Definitely have their opinion, but your opinion also dictates other people's opinion, right? So because you want to give your opinion, right? Once you give that opinion, you put it out into the world. Then people are free to have opinions about what you're saying.
True.
Because if
Yeah,
you didn't want your opinion
of course,
to have,
your opinion.
if you didn't want your opinion out there, then you wouldn't talk.
Yeah, it
right?
will
Like-
elicit responses, exactly, right? But
Exactly. So
even
you gotta
then,
understand that you're not in a bubble.
Yeah, but as
Like,
long
if
as the
you're-
person is being respectful, you got to be respectful, right?
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
usually I don't
absolutely.
blast people unless you if you blast, I blast on you.
That's how
and
I
it is
am.
what it is.
Exactly.
It's funny to me.
Pause?
You don't like it? Oh well, yeah.
That's-
Pause. All pause.
Pause. Yeah.
Well, that's
Pause.
a good
Yeah.
blast. You know what I'm saying?
Ah.
Good
You
blast.
get all that, right? You get all that,
Yeah.
right? And it's funny to me. But if you respectful and you just don't disagree, hey, we just don't disagree. We disagree, whatever, right? And we move
You also
on.
have to remember, Pixel, that
Oh,
what
man.
makes you feel like you need to blast off on
Pause.
is not going to be necessarily the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that unpaused. I'm going to let that blast be everywhere.
Oh,
Alright?
no.
Yeah.
It's not
Pause that.
necessarily
Yeah,
the
hold
same
on.
thing.
But I feel you. Pause.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like other people
Yeah.
can feel different things trigger them, right? So
Mhm.
like the
Yeah.
same way you would say I'm justified blasting off on this person because of what they said, and that's what I took it that way, so that's why I'm gonna blast off. That's what everybody else gets to do, right? So just because you might look at the thing and be like, I don't think that's a reason to blast off. That's your opinion on what's your reason not to blast off on. That doesn't mean other people won't feel the same way, right? And we can't
Yeah.
think that we get to dictate what other people think is a big deal to them, right? And that's why when I brought it up, I said that this is people who are hitting me up in the DMs from Xbox fans because they feel like this is worth blowing up on because they're sick of
Yeah,
the
but
bullshit.
I'm not blowing up
I
over
think
this.
that's
though.
the part-
And that's the thing. I'm not going to blow up over a Game Awards. I'm just not.
Yeah, I think
I'm
that's the
not
part
giving
I
them that energy
disagree
because
with.
it's like they don't deserve that much importance for me to blow up on them like that. Let me crash out because
Somebody
you
call Doodle.
let me crash
Somebody
out.
call Doodle.
Oh, what's up,
Good
Doodle?
talk shit,
Oh,
Doodle.
oh
Damn it,
snap!
Doodle.
I don't have her active in the live, so she can't curse me out live. But listen, my thing is, I'm not crashing out over them like the VGAs. I'm just come on.
Yeah,
it's the
for you.
VGAs.
For you.
Nobody should.
Yeah,
It's the VGAs. I
But
couldn't
that's
care. I
that's
couldn't
your
care less
opinion.
about Jeff
I mean,
Keighley and
listen,
his.
let's not-
Hold
let's
on,
not act
hold on.
like
I
people are
couldn't
getting
care less
shot.
about
Nobody's getting hurt here.
corporate funding.
These are words.
Yeah, but that's my
You know what I'm
point. Even if it's words, it's
I mean,
unnecessary. I'm
you
not
did
giving.
compare it to Rosa Parks earlier.
did,
like,
or-
that's a
yeah.
pretty serious.
He said
I
new
did.
legal. He
Legal
said,
did.
yeah.
Legal did.
But my point is to say, it's like I'm not crashing out over the VGAs. I'm going to voice my disappointments, voice my frustrations, voice my disagreements. But I'm not crashing out over it. They're not that important to me.
I genuinely don't
them
even
feeling
think
the way
this
they.
is the worst one.
It's not.
worst
It's not the
VGAs.
worst. We've had worse. But my thing is, even beyond that,
Not with Xbox
I
position that
disagree
they're in right
with
now.
what I disagree with. I don't like the game of the year all the way, and I was going to address that. Speaking of the game of the year, if I had to remove it, Resident Evil 4, of course, the remake, because it shouldn't be there. I agree. Remake shouldn't be there. Hogwarts Legacy deserves love. Starfield deserves love. Star Wars Jedi Survivor deserves love. It's a bunch. But my thing is, I'm not crashing out on them because they don't deserve that for me. They're not powerful enough, or at least not powerful. They don't warrant enough of that for me to be like, let me crash out. How dare you not do this thing and agree with how I agree? It's Jeff Keighley and they're corporate funded, sponsored. Like, of course. We know who they are tuned to. I'm not going to crash out for them.
But you know that what's the name? Sea of Thieves. Did you see their tweet?
I saw that. It was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, but they were joking.
Yeah. Did you see Josh? Did you see Josh Sawyer?
I saw his.
Yeah,
I saw his
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Both
Okay,
stifled.
Terry.
To be clear,
Now, obviously they can't be rough, right?
Yeah.
But just the fact that they went and posted those tweets, that tells you everything you need to know, my man.
Speaking
That's
of
just
which,
the reality.
best
of it.
ongoing for that, right? So best ongoing was one of the ones where I had a lot of issues with too. Cyberpunk, as we all can agree, I'm pretty sure shouldn't have been here.
Yeah, to be clear, because I don't
Should've
think
been
we'll have
there,
time
bro.
to get to it at this point, because Umbra's has to
Yeah,
pay
give
the
out.
bills or whatever.
The bills or whatever.
Because we didn't even get to it, but like the part of this that I was prepared to be very genuinely like upset about is the stuff in the best ongoing, best community support, where it's just like, it's not even just like bias in that category. It's like it just feels like such a disconnect from just
reality.
Like, a disconnect from the community, just like out of touch. Like, it's so weird. Like, I know earlier I said I wasn't going to talk shit about anybody. I was listening to the Jeff Gerstmann podcast today.
Let's just frame this
I'm
real
going
quick.
in. It's
How
fine.
fast this shit is changing to a, you know what? I don't think we should do that until
No.
I think I should.
No.
problem. Go ahead, Daddy,
Because
talk
I'm not
your
going to
shit.
go. I'm not going to go
Talk your
anywhere
shit,
near.
Daddy, it's not good.
I'm not going to go in anywhere near as hard as you have been, or
Because you don't want to, but we know what's gonna happen when you turn off that mic. You're gonna finish that statement in your mind.
I'm really good. I really do not sugarcoat a damn thing. But I was listening to the Jeff Gerstmann show, and because he's like an older guy, and I don't even think he would disagree by me saying he's kind of an out of touch old guy, like a grumpy old man. He was looking at the best RPG section. He's like, the only one of these that's an actual RPG is Baldur's Gate.
Yeah,
because he was talking, because he's from the time when the only kind of RPG was a CRPG, and he's like, well, they changed the word and now it's all soft. And I was like, bro, what? He's like, yeah, Starfield's not an RPG, it's a character, or no, what do you say, action adventure game. And I was like, what?
No, it's not.
I was like, what?
I'm from that time too, but
Like,
no, it's not.
The problem for me is not just like a bias, it's just that like there's so many wild opinions going on in the game space where like it genuinely feels like a lot of the people who are voting on this just have like a disconnect from the community, where they're like, yeah, you know who had great community support this year? Destiny.
Yeah, right.
It's like, wait, what? Are you serious?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
even
that's cracked
before all the stuff with them firing all their people and like missing their goals, the only other thing they did this year was put out an expansion that everyone pretty much hated.
Right.
Like,
So
like,
in this
why-
category, who got duped?
yeah, exactly.
Best community support definitely should have gone to somebody like a Sea of Thieves. It should have gone
Or
Halo.
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
Wow.
Wow.
man,
Yeah,
Halo.
Like there's so
Halo.
many other options, and I think the
I would
problem
even
with
say
it
Halo for
is
this one, but Halo definitely for best ongoing
Yeah.
should have been there, in my opinion.
There's the problem with these ones is that I feel like so many of I don't even think it's a bias thing. I think they just overlook this one and then just like put in their default answers, and that's why every year we get the same ones, where it's like Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Genshin, Apex. Like we get the same ones over and over and over again in these categories, and it's like, what did that one do this year?
Yeah, I think that's a
tell me
bigger
something Apex did in
Somebody who
2023.
didn't even participate.
Such
They
as
nominated a
such
coach
as this.
for esports
Yeah.
that didn't even
Yeah.
do it.
such as this
It's
man
like-
here, right? Well, who was it? It was him here, right?
Oh yeah,
Remy.
yeah.
The guy who didn't even coach this year, and he was nominated for best esports. So it's definitely just a cookie cutter thing they're doing here when it comes
Yeah.
to nominations. That's the problem. That's one of
But,
the
like,
bigger issues there.
I cannot tell you how many times on how many podcasts I listened to over the last couple of days where people who are in the industry looked at the content creator of the year section and was like, I don't know who any of these people are.
Yep.
And it's
Same.
like, so who the fuck voted for him?
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. You could tell they're half-assing it, and you could tell it's just like a cookie cutter response. Oh yeah, they're not really delving into this, and that's part of the issue. And I think that's part of the bigger issue. See, to go back to that, where we were saying, like, I don't think it's necessarily a conscious bias for all of them. I'm not saying some probably are, but I think it's an unconscious thing where they're just like, default, we have to go to something that was from PlayStation. Default, we have to
and
go
I
to
think
something from
it's-
Nintendo. Default, we ignore Xbox. I think that's kind of some of these people's mindsets, and that
That
needs to
sounds a
change.
lot like bias.
It's definitely bias.
I think it's more
definitely
ignorance.
ignorance and bias. But I think it's
I
both.
think it's a mixture of both.
Yeah,
Right?
I agree.
Like, I'm not letting people off the hook specifically because before these events even occur, there's a constant stream of BS about Xbox, right?
Mhm.
Coming from the same outlets that vote on this stuff. So if you eliminate the year-long campaign against Xbox in media before awards, maybe nobody says anything about bias. It just all flows naturally.
Yep.
But when you're doing a year-long lead up and it's like, as before a game comes out, you're like outing the things you don't like about it, but you didn't play it. Like,
Mhm.
come on, son. Like it's those kind of things that make it worse. So, for the media, hey, maybe stop doing that shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Start there,
And-
right? And then people would maybe take you seriously. So
And that's and they see what you just said there. That's why I don't give them my energy like that, Pixel,
Yeah.
because I don't take them serious. Some of the stuff, like, again, some people will, for instance, will write off Metacritic until it's the game they like being judged, right? Then it's like, oh, it either did well or it didn't. It's going to use it as a bludgeon either way.
Exactly.
But this is why I feel on this thing with the Game Awards. It's like them not putting Starfield as a Game of the Year nomination doesn't mean it's not a Game of the Year for me. It doesn't diminish its greatness for me. You see what I mean? So that's why I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like the lack of integrity when it comes to certain things or whatever that I perceive as that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't diminish that greatness
Well-
for me, what I enjoyed. It doesn't take away from what I felt. You know
And
what
can
I
I
mean?
add something that's always annoyed me about the Game Awards here is that I don't think even the people who put on the Game Awards think the actual awards matter.
Mm.
Like,
No, they
we're
barely
talking
do.
about
No,
a
it's
like
a media
2/3
show,
of
right?
them are presented off screen. We'll get situations where someone will come up to accept an award and they'll be like, by the way, this also won the award for X, Y, and Z. And it's like, okay, so you're going to only present like 4 of the people on stage. The people who do, if they talk a little bit too long, you're going to play them off like it's the fucking Oscars
Yep.
so that you could bring out goddamn Al Pacino
Some
or whoever
right,
the fuck
big star name, exactly.
who has nothing to do with video games
Nicolas
to bumble
Cage.
fuck around on the stage for 30 minutes.
She's got a
It's like-
great ass. But
and it's
listen,
like, look, dude, I understand that the reason that people come to this
Mhm.
is to see the announcements.
Yeah.
Like, that's also, to be clear, the reason that I watch it. But it's like, if you're gonna be the Game Awards
Mhm.
and you're gonna say every year, this is about representing the best in gaming and the best in this, and like the representing the love of video games, then you need to be better.
I
And not
agree.
just in terms of bias, but yes, also in terms of bias, but also in terms of just like, take yourself seriously. Like, if you're going to be an award show, if you're going to call yourself the Game Awards, then represent that. Show up to the game.
Mhm.
Let the devs talk about their games. Actually present the awards. If it's an important enough award to give out, give it to somebody.
Yeah.
Let them talk about it. This is the thing that has always pissed me off about the Game Awards is it's like the idea of having an award show is just secondary to like rope people in so that they can show off
That's
a new
all it
trailer for
is.
fucking Fortnite.
this is why
it's like-
that's why exactly why I said I don't give them that, because we all saw it, man. After a while, you start to realize this is a glorified commercial ad right here for him to get it, bring
Yes,
in
it
revenue.
is.
I
Right,
don't
and-
I don't have
and
enough
this
love
year
for
in
them for that.
particular- This year in particular, because we know that the Grand Theft Auto trailer is coming out like sometime around the Game Awards, maybe at the Game Awards, but probably not. no one's gonna be talking about any fucking thing that gets announced at the Game Awards. You're gonna be talking about Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, that's facts.
If
they announce
trailer
Grand Theft
drops
Auto
12 hours before the Game Awards, the Game Awards may as well not happen.
Exactly.
might as well
No
be
question.
over, yeah,
No question.
Facts.
But this one I wanted to highlight
Facts.
too. Most anticipated game. I thought it was so weird because you got Tekken 8, you got Star Wars Outlaws, you have Like a Dragon,
Where's the
Infinite Wealth,
Xbox game?
Hades 2, Final Fantasy.
How does no Xbox
Oh,
game
man.
No
show up in this
anticipated
when
with
Hellblade 2
Right.
next year?
what the hell?
Oh my
For
god.
I not some of these I can
Xbox is
see.
the only place that has shows that people give a shit about.
Yeah, it's true.
This whole year, Xbox has been the only show
Mhm.
Yeah.
on stages that
That's the
people
only
have
one been
walked
crushing it
away
all
like,
year,
yo,
yeah.
look at this amazing
Well,
game.
to be
Oh
fair,
my god,
technically none of these
Fable.
are
Is that-
PlayStation or
is
Nintendo
that
games
fake?
either.
True. Well, Final
No,
Fantasy.
You know what I'm saying?
the
Like-
Final Fantasy is.
It's
Yeah.
exclusive, but it's not their game.
True. We might as
Yeah,
well
but
be.
still,
Yeah,
it's still
it's
the perception
kinda de
to me, right?
facto.
They perceive it to be.
But this is my
Right?
thing. Even beyond that, like I can see
Come
Star
on,
Wars, I
man.
can see Tekken, I can see Hades, I can even see Rebirth. Why is Like a Dragon more anticipated in their minds than Hellblade 2?
Yeah, that was
Or-
definitely weird. to me.
That's the odd one for me.
Fable. About
Yeah,
big
yeah,
bangers that people are like,
Fable.
"Holy shit, we're excited about these
Yeah,
games."
even Wolverine or
true.
something. I can
We're
see any of them being
excited
there.
about the next sequel to the same fucking franchise that they've had before.
Yeah,
I don't.
Come on, man.
That's true.
I don't
Because
think
truthfully
that's the most
speaking, it doesn't
anticipated.
say that like they have to be. So it says that they have to be games that are announced. It doesn't say they have to be coming out next year. So it's
Right.
like
So you
unless
can-
that's a set like something that he added to the ballot that we're not seeing on the website, which I guess is not even
Mhm.
possible. But like there are so many huge games. Like you could put Grand Theft Auto 6 on this. You could have put
So true.
you could put Wolverine. You could have put
Yeah,
like I'm sure there's a Nintendo game. I don't really care about that. But I'm sure they got something.
the next Zelda. Yeah, the next Mario.
I tell you right now, the fact that Wolverine was Wolverine there?
No, it's not on the most anticipated.
No, it's not on there, right? The fact that
That's
Wolverine
wild,
is
actually.
not there, that's to show you how little people give a shit about that game. because this is a pony dominated world and not even that game got in.
Nobody even
I-
knows what that game is at this point.
I
right?
think
We-
what it
we-
is it show how little they put into thought into putting these nominees up. I think that's the bigger one because they just threw this out there. It's like, oh, Like a Dragon. Why is that there? Over all those other games that could be there, I don't think so. Doesn't add up to me. And did you all have any other nominees that you found were like a little odd for you?
Liza P is an action game, not an RPG. Sorry.
Is that best action?
It's
Action
in
adventure?
there under best
Is it?
RPG, but it should be under best action.
Okay, I see.
I'm not going to run through all of them because we don't have time. There's a lot of like very clearly people are confused about like where they should put the games when it comes to the genre awards, where it's like, is this an RPG? It has RPG elements. Is it more of an action adventure or is it more action? Like, what's the difference between action and action adventure? Why do we
Yeah.
have those but not like a shooter or a horror?
Yeah,
or
I mean,
whatever?
this is the same thing with Final
And it's
Fantasy
like-
16, right? They got no
Mhm.
business in there as
Like,
an
there's-
RPG either.
It sure
The
doesn't
genre
because it's not even
sections are just
RPG. Exactly.
So confusing.
This is another
Yeah.
one
Not-
that
not
was
nothing
weird
to do with the
because sorry,
ahead.
just want to say because best independent
that's fine.
game, right? Dave the Diver.
Oh yeah, Dave the Diver is like not an indie
It's
game.
not an indie game.
Well, and people are like, oh, well, but it's got the
And didn't the
vibe
devs
of
say
an indie
so?
game. It's a smaller game. And I'm like, okay, then put Hi-Fi Rush in there because that was
Yeah,
that was
why-
last year, and that
exactly.
got the
High five
vibe
rush
of
in that bitch.
Yeah, if you're going to go that route, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point.
Exactly. No, the other thing I was gonna say was that like they did it again, which they started doing. They used to be separate, right? But they had racing and sports put together again this year.
Mhm.
But this year had like a bunch of dope racing games.
It did.
Like if you look at, you got the Forza, you got GT, you got Crew, you got the F1 racing series. That was a big deal. Like there was definitely enough racing games to have a racing genre. I mean, a
Yeah.
racing category, and there's always enough sports games to do it. It
Well-
might not be of note, but you could still.
Well, yeah.
put them
The
in
problem
there.
with doing a sports one by itself is that means that every fucking
It'll just be the same ones.
like it's gonna be the same ones every year.
Yeah. The
Um,
Maddens, the 2Ks. I can see what you mean by
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but then it just go. Then you're forcing these racing games because either what you're saying is, then yeah, it's gonna.
No,
go
I
up
think it's
against it
bad
and
all
it's not gonna
around.
win because you know if Madden's gonna lose to the racing game every year
Well, Madden doesn't even
because
get
the
nominated
racing game
for
is
some
more
reason.
exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that sports games deserve to have their own fucking category. Like, sure, it's the same games. Which one's the best this year?
You know, I just
Like,
noticed
Yeah,
let
but
them
something.
here's-
fight for that.
But then
shit.
the other aspect of it is like, even if they did, like that's for sure not one he's gonna present on stage. They're gonna fucking mail it to somebody who's gonna sit in an office.
Right. You know something I just
Yeah,
noticed,
but
by the way?
those developers would still feel braggy about it, right? Like, oh,
Sure.
we won this time.
Oh,
We
yeah.
beat
I've worked at a
Madden,
lot of
or
jobs where we
beat
won
this.
an awards, and I didn't feel a damn thing. Maybe I'm dead inside.
Well, you probably might be a little dead inside, but yeah, I think
Yeah,
if I'm part of a team and we win something, I feel good about it personally. You know, if
Yeah,
I put in,
absolutely.
but I would say
Especially
that
if you did something.
absolutely.
Not if you were like the janitor and
Yeah.
shit, but like if you were
Hey,
the
Hey,
developer.
I mopped the floors that they walked on. Damn you!
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, but EA Sports right here, I just noticed both of these are EA. This
Which-
EA
oh,
Sports
are we looking at
FC
sports?
and F123 both are EA, so they're bound to win one way or another. It's like they can't lose here
Well, I mean,
unless they
the same
lose.
beat
Forza.
I mean,
Unless they lose
Yeah,
to one of
that's
these
the-
three.
that's the-
But I'm saying like they already got the bets hedged right here.
I feel like I never hear anyone talking about these F1 games. I don't really understand how this is.
Yeah,
on
but
here.
if you
Yeah.
do look at the racing community, they love that shit.
I don't look
Yeah.
at the racing community. They're going too fast. How am I supposed to see?
He's like, slow down. You're going too fast. I want to get there in one piece. He starts talking like, oh man. Yeah, man. Was there any other category that you guys found weird or odd? I guess this would be the last one. You know, we talked about games for impact, and
Sure, let me get that one.
I guess this is for like, it's okay. They say for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. Sounds like, I'm sorry to say it, woke games. That's what it sounds like when I read that like that.
I was gonna say weird.
It
I was gonna
sounds
say weird.
woke and weird.
But-
And
The
you,
problem here is I don't know what half of these games are.
only one I know
Yeah.
is Goodbye Volcano High and Chia, or whatever how you say this.
Chia.
Only
Yeah,
two
well,
I've
those
ever
are the
heard
two that
of.
were in-
Oh yeah.
Those are the two that were
I
in
didn't play any of
like
these
actual
games. I have
showcases.
And
no
you know
comment
what?
on them.
I guarantee
Same.
you, most of those people who nominated these games also did not play them.
Hey.
They were like, what they read the description,
Yeah.
and they were like, "That sounds right.
That sounds good.
that
yeah,
sounds right."
sounds nice. Venba, I know. I think is that coming to Game Pass or something? I saw that being mentioned
Yeah.
too.
Well, I played Venba. It's actually pretty cute.
Yeah. Okay, so these
Like,
right here.
That's all I have to say.
it's
I thought it was cute. It's got a good art style. I don't know. I
You're like,
it.
yeah, it was all right. Yeah. So games for impact, I would do it a different way. Like we were talking about Starfield and stuff like that. We were talking about how impactful it was. That's what I meant. That should be game. That's an impactful game. You know?
Yeah, I think they.
Yep.
They didn't beat the game, so they wouldn't know how impactful it got.
Yeah, right.
That's true. Well, they didn't beat Baldur's Gate. Like none of them got past apparently Act 1. I don't know why that annoys me so much, but it really does.
Yeah, because typically we want to have people who give a thought when they beat a game, not because they played one chapter. That's why it feels that way.
Well, you know what? Actually, no. I do know why it annoys me so much. From what I can tell, it's the front runner to win like most of these categories. Like a lot of people are very much thinking that it's for sure going to win Best RPG, that it's going to probably got a really good shot of being just the game of the year.
Right.
And it really bothers me that even though it's probably a really good game, it bothers me that the people who are voting on this are on their own podcast saying that they didn't finish it. And it's like, so what the fuck? Like, like I'm just so
That's right.
confused
How
by
can you
that,
come to this
that
assessment without
conversation of like,
actually beating the
it's the
game?
best
Yeah,
game,
it's
but I didn't
crazy.
finish. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, we do have to wrap it up, guys. So I want to say this though to bring us back home. I want everybody to know, like, even if we sounded slightly heated, don't take it the wrong way, because I know we get passionate.
No, this is
Yeah.
a beautifully wonderful conversation.
Absolutely, it's all passion, it's all love. I got nothing but love for all these gentlemen here. Same for you guys in the chat. What I get weary of, and I've said this on multiple podcasts. This is why I feel this way, because I honestly believe the Xbox community is the best community in gaming. I mean that 100%. People could probably make a case for Nintendo, seeing how they seem to be no frills. They don't cause enough problems. It's just us and PlayStation guys.
Well, it's hard to cause problems when you're not old enough to have a phone.
So, or you got to give a friend code. They got all those digits, and people like, listen.
I'm sorry. I really only bury Nintendo to piss off Joanna.
Keep doing it.
It's like my whole reason.
Please
for
keep
living
doing
right
it, because
now.
he keeps making fun of Unreal Engine, and I need somebody to get it.
Yeah.
So please keep doing it. But I say all that to say, I want C is going to be who C is going to be. As Doodle is going to be who Doodle is going to be. Pixel is going to be who
100%.
Pixel is going to be. Danny's going to be him. I'm going to be me. But what I want us to know is that how I think all of us are aligned in a lot of different ways. We just deliver the message differently. I don't want us to turn on each other. That's why I say I love our community. Don't get to the pony status where we start chopping each other head off because we're not all saying what the way we want to say things, that we're not hearing it the exact same way. So I want us to still just, understand that we do all respect and understand how somebody's coming at it. It just might not be the way you come at it. But You
But
you
I would
definitely
say also
Yeah.
just also too, when you're thinking about this, just also keep in mind to respect those people who do feel strongly about these
I
things,
agree.
right?
And I agree
So
with that.
that's the balance, because even though we just want to
So,
make
well,
sure that
depending on how far they
they
go, of course. Don't
yeah,
go so
well, no,
far,
just it's
guys, where
not
you making an
they're
ass
not
of
doing
yourself.
crazy stuff. It's just the feelings that they
Well,
have, right?
some
Let's not
are.
try
I've
to
seen a few now. I say that because I'm heavy on Twitter. I've seen a few, but I say
well,
that is within respectable bounds. Absolutely. Hell, I've said some toxic shit on. You should see some of the stuff I've said on Twitter. I'm just saying.
listen, I say as long as it balances out with the ponies that exist in the world, as long as we coming in a little less, we're good. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Just
I would
coming
rather
a little
be
less.
I would rather be further separated from the pony, the Hooves brothers. But that's just me. But my thing is, I'm
Yeah,
not.
but they got
I'm not.
46 million sold, man. We got to get up there.
Well, I don't want to be
We gotta
toxic to
bring
match
it.
their. I don't want to be more toxic
gotta
to match
bring
their
it.
more because we have to be more toxic if that's the case because they got too many. But my thing is,
Let's do it.
Oh no,
51%.
See, it's like I'm
51%.
said 5150 for in other words, going crazy out here. But my thing is to say, listen, and I say all that to also to say, listen, you're going to gravitate to where you gravitate to. C is going to deliver a message on his shows with Doodle and the family, and I love them for that. I love WBG. I'm part of WBG Records, if you all don't remember, with Dirt and the crew. So my whole thing is everybody's going to deliver their message how they do. And I respect everybody for doing how they do in this space that we're in.
Facts.
You go to those people, you go to our family, and you support us. This is all family here. You all are a family for me, and my gaming side of things. So trust me when I say I take this also very passionately and strongly. I do.
Why you had to put some decoration on that on the game side? You just kind of think, we're like family. I mean,
Well,
there's a little spectrum of life over here.
See, I try to bring reality. I try to bring a little reality because I got my family like you do, and
they
I
listening
got my
right now.
gaming family.
You can let us believe a little.
Hey, I'm not spending Thanksgiving over at y'all house. If y'all give me some I don't know, some deep fried turkey or something, I'll consider it. But no, I say all that to say, like, everybody's going to deliver what they deliver, and everybody in this chat and everywhere else, even the people who hit you up, are going to gravitate to those who deliver a message the way they want to hear it. It's human nature. But I agree with that, and I say implore the people that do that thing, but don't turn on each other in this community, because I think it's a great community that we need to protect in a way that we don't destroy it from the inside just because we're mad about some stuff that these Who brothers are doing or that those in the media are doing. That's what I mean by that. So definitely support.
Let's help amplify it every once in a while too. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely do both, but just do so within reason where you
Both
don't
sides.
you don't tear yourself down and this community down doing it. That's what I mean. But that said, enough kumbaya and niceties. We're gonna get out of here because I need to get going, and then we've held these gentlemen up for a long time. So I want to thank you all.
Get dinner.
Yes, yeah, me too. And I'll be eating at work, I guess. But so much love to everybody in the chat. If you haven't done so, please hit the like button, subscribe. C, we'll start with you, brother. C Money, my brother. Where would the good folks find you? And what will you be up to for the rest of this week and going forward?
Thank you. Listen, first of all, I want to thank you again for inviting me onto the show. This was fun, man. I love a good debate. It's
Absolutely.
always a good time.
Absolutely.
It wasn't meant to be a debate.
It wasn't, but I love that. But you know what though? What's funny is I brought
We
Pixel.
didn't even get to what we wanted to talk about.
I brought Pixel and C here though because I knew that they were going to bring the smoke. I said this to C actually beforehand. Like, hey, I know you're going to bring the smoke. I wanted that to happen.
This was more toned down than I would have thought it was.
Yeah.
It's all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is good. It didn't get crazy.
Yeah.
It didn't get crazy.
Absolutely.
But nah, man. But yeah, so thank you again. I appreciate it. Love doing this. You already have. I see the link in the description, so I appreciate you. It's On Point 4 Gamers. Yeah. So we have 4 shows we do a week. We start our week off Monday mornings, 9:30 a.m. with Morning Quest with Doodle and C Money. That's a show I do with my wife, where we just talk gaming. We talk that shit when we gotta, and we start the week off right. Fun. And then Tuesdays, we have our guest show, Her, Him, and a Guest. If you missed it this past week, we had the man himself, Tim Dog, who was on the show. brought the heat. It was amazing. So if you didn't watch it, please do so. Next week, we finally got one of the busiest men in the business finally coming to our show. We got Hargeet Chani coming on Tuesday.
Oh,
It's
nice.
going to be in the hot seat. So it's going to be a fun time. So definitely come check that out. That's going to be at, I think Hargeet's at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Because he has a dealer show at 8. So
yeah. Hargeet also didn't like Baldur's Gate 3, by the way. He thought it was
good.
trash.
So we have something to share in
yeah,
common.
yeah.
No, I thought it was good
until
I got
it at first, right?
that date grape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Until that, once that happened,
I
it
knew
got
it.
really weird for me. But yeah, so that's that show. And then a big change was we used to have our show today on Thursdays, but we have since moved the show.
You know, I heard you mention that
our-
on Tuesday, but I didn't know what day you were talking about. So you moved it from tonight then to Wednesdays. Is that what it was?
to Wednesday. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's we were at I think we used to be at 5 o'clock
Right.
on
Thursdays.
Thursdays. Now we're
Mhm.
doing 4 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays.
Okay.
It's just easier for us with scheduling and timing, and kids got karate and shit. We kind of have to move things around a little bit
Yeah.
to make things.
So
a little
you
easier for us.
all not just fighting the good fight on Xbox side. You're gonna have the kids out there fighting out there in the streets, knocking people out, and they say the wrong
yeah,
thing.
they getting there. I'm building an army.
I
I
see.
got 6 kids, 4 of them in karate.
Oh
The
man.
2 of them are already brown belts, working towards their black belts.
Oh
I've got a
wow.
squad.
Look
I
at
got a
y'all.
squad.
6 kids? Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
See,
man.
you ain't playing. See, say
I only
hey.
knew about the 2.
Yeah, he gonna put hands.
Yeah,
He gonna have people putting hands.
That's why we go so hard.
What
We do everything big.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
hear
We
you.
can't
I hear
stop.
you.
Oh
He said,
man.
what
So
you-
yeah, so
He'll be
that-
out there.
our-
What you
our
say
game-
about Xbox, sucker? Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So the game is On Point, the gaming podcast. That's Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
We had an amazing show yesterday. It was super dope. Chat was wild. One of
Yeah.
our biggest shows ever. So we do appreciate you guys showing up. It's been really, really dope. And then Friday is our On Point Anime and Beyond. It's like 6 p.m. Eastern time, where we talk some anime, TV, movies, pop culture stuff. What it really boils down to is we end up talking about horror for like 4,000 hours because the chat comes in here and everybody loves horror.
Yeah.
But
I'm the only
we
one
do.
that don't.
nah, it's a
I
good
don't.
show.
I am not the biggest fan of horror.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but
Yeah.
this is the way they like to be. It's fun times. But yeah, so we do appreciate you guys stopping by. We thank you all so much for doing so. If you
Oh, yeah.
haven't, please stop by. Subscribe to the channel.
Mhm.
We're on our march to 12K.
Very nice.
Let's go 11.5 first. We're at 11.3.
Yeah.
We're halfway to 11.4. So, it's for 11.345 or something like
And
that.
you all
So-
deserve all the subs you have and more. Like, I got nothing but love for you guys. You see me in the chat all
Oh,
the
we
time.
appreciate you, man.
Oh man,
Yeah,
listen,
absolutely,
you
man.
all deserve the subs you have, and I hope you all make it well past 100,000s and all that, and can put your plaques up on the wall and all that. Like, so much
That would
love
be
to you,
cool.
man, and to Doodle and to the family. Love you guys, honestly, truly.
Definitely appreciate it. And hey, fingers crossed for us,
Very
okay?
entertaining.
Because we have not been able to monetize.
Yeah.
All right. So fingers crossed
Yeah,
this
the way you
weekend.
started that, I
the
thought you were
9th
about to announce kid number 7. God damn.
Yeah.
No. Chill. Don't put that out there.
He said, "Don't put that,
say shit
don't put
like
that evil on me, Ricky Bobby."
Shit. We did our part to the world. All right. We made up for Japan's bullshit.
Yeah.
All right. We brought in more people. So the 19th, fingers crossed. If you remember, just say a little prayer. All right. November 19th, we
November
get to
19th.
try again
Okay,
to get monetized.
nice.
We deleted like 1 million videos off our channel to see if we can appease these YouTube bastards.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
hopefully
I
we'll
saw
have-
something like a ridiculous number of like 900 and something episodes you all had on your channel.
Oh yeah, we had like 1.3K.
Sheesh.
Yeah, before we were doing podcasting, we did tons of shows. The one that we're nervous about is, my son made he made a viral short. He made a short. It has 3.5 million views.
Okay, I gotta see that. I gotta check that out.
And yeah, it's Peaches. It's from the Mario movie.
Yeah.
He did a play on the song, and it's pretty fucking funny. So I don't want
Peaches,
to delete it,
peaches,
you know what I'm saying?
peaches.
Like
Is
that
that-
would suck.
Is it off that
Yeah,
that
that
song?
one.
Okay.
Yeah. It's hilarious. Well,
I love you. that.
Oh,
So
no.
when he loses his shit, right? So when you listen to the song, if you listen right, it sounds like he's saying bitches, right?
Oh,
Instead of peaches, it sounds like he's saying bitches, bitches,
bitches,
And then
bitches,
at the
bitches,
end,
bitches, bitches.
if you cut it just right, which my son did,
Yeah.
if you
Oh,
cut it just
God.
right, when he loses his shit at the end of the song, it so sounds like he's saying bitches. And because he wrote the word bitches on the screen at the same time, when you're watching it, you read it, you hear it, it's crazy.
I see. Yeah, through him. Okay, yeah. Because if
Oh,
somebody
my
write the
God.
word that sounds similar, you will believe. Oh, that's what he's really saying. I get it.
It sounds just like it, yo. It
Yeah.
sounds just like it. So definitely check it out. Definitely check it out.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Hey, I saw my boy Inferno in the chat. He said he needs an apology for the Yakuza. Hey, listen, I love
Shit.
Yakuza the main series, but I just don't think it's more anticipated than a lot of other games, though. The Infinite Wealth, but yeah, but that yeah. See, thank you for being here with me, brother. I know I kind of got to you kind of like a day or two beforehand, so I know it's kind of last second in a way, but I appreciate that. And you guys, I have everybody's guest, myself and Danny's links and such inside of the description. I think I did a particularly good job in identifying where to find these good, fine gentlemen. And so definitely,
You did.
thank you. And definitely go and subscribe to C Money. And of course, our other guest and esteemed colleague, Pixelbit G. Brother, thank you for being here with us tonight. And could you tell the good folks where they can find you and what you will be up to?
I just want to thank both of you for inviting me on your show, man. I've been looking forward to getting on here.
Mm-hmm.
And as expected, it was a wonderful time. My man, C Money, pleasure, my dude. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoy your stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? So, much love and success to both of you, to actually also all you guys. You can find me on X under Pixelated G or Pixelated G or whatever. But I may be working on some stuff in the future. We'll see, time permitting. But as always, man, you'll catch me on other shows every now and again. So,
yep,
appreciate it.
Absolutely. You'll typically find Pixel inside of the monitoring the chat as far as a mod. It's myself as well on K. Asante's podcast, him and Everboy's
that's
podcast.
right, yep. Mm-hmm.
But as far as your channel, I also did put it. I know you had a few things up there, but you don't have a ton of things just yet. But
yeah.
I
Work in
expect
progress.
I expect you. Yeah, I expect you to fully go all in soon.
Yeah.
So
I know I gotta do it.
Absolutely, and absolutely, your voice deserves to be heard out there. So much love to you, and thank you for being here with us, man. I really appreciate that. Much love to you. And of course, last but not least, Daniel McGee, my brother. Great show tonight. Good job on the news roundup and everything. Where can our good folks find you, and where can they subscribe, and what will you be up to?
So you can find me as always on Twitter at Daniel J McGee, or at my personal YouTube channel of Daniel McGee. I actually put up 2 videos in the last week for I don't know why. One is a Spider-Man 2 spoiler cast with Mr. Badbit from the trophy room, and the other one was me just going through all the Game Award nominations and doing my voting on them, which honestly, like, let's be honest, the fan voting counts for absolutely nothing. So, but if you want to see either of those, you can find them over at my channel, where we are getting real close emotionally to 1,000 subscribers, and I would love to hit that number real fast.
I saw you were like at 7 something or something.
I'm
like
at 785 currently.
Yeah, there we go. Get in there.
Man.
Get them.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
What's up?
got to make sure to big you up on during booms, because that seems to get the biggest draw when we do it there. I've noticed.
It does help.
Yeah.
For sure.
Make sure you put the link in there too when you're on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't do that, do you? I know me and C Money.
No, I do. I dropped it in the chat just now.
Okay. What about like I'm talking about during booms? I know for a fact
I do.
me and C do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I drop it in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta do like multiple times. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
C
Like,
does it.
sometimes
Yeah,
C-
C'll do it like 4 or 5 times. So I've seen it. I decided to do it twice.
Yeah.
I think this past
I actually
time.
I gave pamphlets to all 6 of C's kids, and he's gonna hand them out. So
Yeah.
they're gonna go door to door and sell them like Girl Scout cookies.
Have you ever heard of our Lord and Savior Daniel McGee?
Hi, it's me. Want to hear my bad take on video games? It'll be really great.
Right.
Yeah, you need to record that. As an issue. That's awesome.
He got the hair and the
He got
facial,
the
the beard, and all that. Yeah.
European Jesus.
If you heard of European
Bro.
Jesus, Daniel McGee.
Put that on there.
Yeah, but much love, man. And Danny, of course, thank you for being here too, brother. Good to have you back. Guys in the chat, much love to you. Thank you all. Queen Doodle, thank you for stopping by and keeping us in check. I didn't abuse your man, okay? Me and C on the same page, so I don't want you cutting me up, all right? So no, guys, you can find me, of course, on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call that thing nowadays. Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. And of course, you'll find me here on Thursdays. Come by and support us 8 o'clock Eastern. Tuesdays on Boom's Xbox Factor, myself, C Money, and Danny, and at 12 o'clock Eastern. And Friday, tomorrow, I think we have Deadly Headley. I've never met the gentleman or gentlewoman. I guess it's a woman, a man. I mean, on Xbox Infinite podcast, myself, Risky for the Biscuit, Jedi Knight Peter, and that blue number. Come by and support us tomorrow too, and show us love if you can. And yeah, man. And of course, I will keep promoting it on my timeline. But the Halo 2 table read for the Game on Cancer charity, I would love for you guys to come by and support us on that on the 25th of November. I'll keep posting about it and talking about it as I can, so to give you all updates and such. But we're going to get out of here, guys. You all have a great night and be safe.
Peace.